Welcome back to the GDQ Hotfix. My name is Dangerous, and this is Crosshair, the show that brings you runs with bullets. First-person shooters, third-person shooters, shmups, bullet hells, lasers, rockets, grenades, I am your father, and shotgun shells. If it's got bullets in it, it's got a home here at Crosshair. If you've got a run that you think qualifies for this or any of our other GDQ Hotfix shows, head on over to gamesdonequick.com/hotfix and fill out that run submission form, and you could end up on a future episode of the GDQ Hotfix. Also, we've got 2 new shows, Fast Travel and the Scenic Route. So if you're an international runner, apply to be on Fast Travel, and if you run glitchless or NMG runs, apply to be on Scenic Route, because both those shows are awesome. Well, folks, 2 weeks ago, on our last episode of Crosshair, we featured Star Trek in celebration of the Elite Force 25th anniversary. Well, we here on Crosshair are equal opportunity sci-fi nerds, and we have to give equal footing to the other one, Star Wars. So I brought in 3 awesome runners today to showcase the Lego Star Wars Complete Saga run. But I thought it wouldn't be like as fun to just, have one runner do everything. So we're doing a relay today. We got 3 runners showing off this run, all back to back. So, folks, take it away.
All right. So I'm Enerac. I'm going to be doing the first leg. I'll be doing episode 1 and 2. I've been running the game for almost 3 years now. And yeah. Wazip, you want to introduce yourself next?
Absolutely. I am Wazip. You probably know me if you're here from, I guess, my side of things. I usually do barnyard speedrunning, but I decided to pick up this game on a whim, and I've been doing it about 3 months at this point. I'm surprised that I'm even here in the first place. What is a polar bear doing in Arlington, Texas? But here I am to do episode 4 and 6 for the second leg. Off to Mello now.
Yes, my name's Mello Vro. I am doing the 3rd and 5th episode, the final leg. I've been playing the game for about a year and a half, and hope to close it out strong for us.
Heck yeah. All righty, well, we are ready whenever you are. Just give us a countdown, and let's get this thing going.
All right. So
all right,
if you want to call it the countdown?
Yep. All right, ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, so starting out, this is Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga, any percent. We do 36 levels, 6 across 6 episodes. And there's a lot of cutscenes, so this is our first cutscene.
Yep, it is worth noting. You might have noticed from our introductions, but we don't play the episodes in order. We play 1 and 2, and then we go to 4, and then 6, and then 3, and then 5. And the reason for that is the red bricks that we collect throughout the run. In episode 4, we will get a Fast Force red brick, so we got to get that early, because that saves a lot of time throughout episode 6, 3, and 5. And then there's some more red bricks that we'll talk about later when we get to those. But yeah, that's the reason we play the episodes out of order.
Yes. Yeah, especially exploding blaster bolts in episode 2. That saves a lot of time. So we get that very early and then go into the episodes where it saves a lot of time afterward.
And then you want to explain 1P2C while I do this?
Oh, yeah, sure. I could do that real quick. 1P2C stands for 1 player, 2 controllers. So you'll notice 2 players can be played with in LEGO games. Interact's actually controlling both players right now with just him. He's probably playing controller keyboard.
Yep.
Which is very common. You don't see too many people doing double controller or double keyboard anymore. But yeah, so he's going to be running through. This is the harder room in the negotiations. Really, you're just wondering about how many studs you have. You want to end the level with 0 studs.
All right, and that was a cutscene that Anorak was trying to avoid with these droidicas here.
Yeah, I'm going to just have to take a death here to force this.
Yeah, the main thing with negotiations is just, in terms of doing it fast, you just want to make sure that you actually just take deaths in the right places throughout the entire mission. And specifically towards the end, you want to make sure that you have 0 studs. That way you're just able to save nice, I think, 6 seconds, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, like
somewhere in that range.
It's like 7 or 8, yeah.
Yeah, somewhere in that range. Which, not a big deal if it does happen, but it'd be nice to avoid. And we got out of
So-
negotiations.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't skip the cutscene there. Normally, that's a pretty easy one. I guess I just walked into the trigger with player 2, and then I had to spend some time losing studs there, but it does end up saving time.
Yeah, we'll be skipping the stud counter coming up here, and so that's really what the time save is going into the second level.
This is the only level where you can't skip the status screens outright. So if you get no studs, it will skip the stud status screen on its own. Also, I am going to save the game. We normally don't, because it'll save about 12 and a half seconds throughout episode 1. But I'm going to save it just in case something happens, and so we don't have to restart from the beginning. Because there is a chance of hard locking or soft locking in this game.
Yes, in a lot of spots. Almost every episode has at least one level where you can potentially soft lock or hard lock the game.
Nice. That's always fun.
Yeah.
They're very avoidable for the most part, though.
Oh, that's good at least.
Yeah, so we'll be coming up on a trick now called ICS, or Invasion Cutscene Skip. And Eric's going to backflip up the tree here and alt-tab out of the game to get to the proper refresh rate in order to get under the map when forcing the tree. So he did it very nicely there.
Yeah, very
Oh
clean.
my god.
And so now he's under the map with the player 1. He's going to automatically drop out the second player by walking forward out of bounds. And he'll be skipping the transition for the cutscene there and entering the next room, saving about 15 or more seconds, I think.
Yeah, and in this room we have a couple tricky jumps with Jar Jar here. This first one, we're just going to try to make our way across this little gap here, and luckily Anorak gets it first try, which is usually not a huge problem, but hopefully we're able to get this nice waterfall jump here next. Yeah, one of the trickier ones. The timing of the jump is a little bit finicky, but...
Now the camera is a little bit weird, but there it is.
Yep. That is it, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. And now we have a log jump. Hopefully we're able to get this one as well.
Yeah, this is the hardest of them.
There we go.
And he nails it, yeah.
Very clean.
Takes a
Unfortunate death there, but
Yeah,
most deaths in this game aren't too bad. It's just 2 seconds lost.
exactly. And Anorak does do a strategy in this room that basically only he does. Like 2 or more other players do it, getting under the floor there. It only saves like maybe less than a second, but it's very nice. And also doing a strategy here where he takes jumps specifically in order to warp the other player to the end of the room there.
That was good.
Which
yeah,
only
so
a few
that's a
people
drop
do.
and warp.
Yeah.
As you might have seen, player 2 spawned kind of like slightly ahead of Jar Jar, but the third player, who's not called in on anyone, spawned way at the end of the room behind the end level transition. And if you jump off screen with Jar Jar after that happens, the game will automatically switch player 1 to the player at the end of the room, and you can hit that end level the trigger from behind it instantly with the third player.
Yeah, pretty difficult stuff there. He has to like hover his controller over his other controller in order to call in at the proper timing and then make the jump with Jar Jar. So a lot of managing input devices in this game, in this category.
Yeah. I use a total of 4 input devices technically, 2 at a time for the most part. Sometimes I'll like press one button on a third while doing something on 2, but that's mostly in the 4th level where like the additional 2 input devices come in. And so that's 2 controllers and then 2 different parts of the keyboard. And yeah, it's a lot of managing like the different controllers and keyboards specifically for 1.4, and you'll see why when we get to that level.
Yeah. Very technical game in terms of like managing like refresh rate, resolution changes throughout the run, alt tabbing properly, making sure you're using the correct devices for the right tricks. So a lot to deal with. A lot of knowledge that has to be had.
And then that was an auto dropout there. So normally in this game, you would have to pause the game and then scroll down to drop out, to drop a player out. But there are certain spots where you can just force the second player to drop out on their own, just by like forcing them off camera enough. And obviously that would be faster because we just don't have to go into the pause menu. And that's what I did there.
Yeah. This is Escape from Naboo, the 3rd level in episode 1. Really, the only goal is to just get to the end as fast as possible. There's no really fancy tricks to it besides that auto dropout he did at the beginning.
Yeah,
There is-
this might be the simplest level in the run.
Yeah, very repeatable. I mean, it's pretty hard to make any like major mistakes besides in this ending room, actually.
Honestly, we didn't even mention arch clip at the start there. That I kind of just clipped through the floor. That is extremely easy. If you just jump into the bottom of that arch, it will clip you up to the next floor. That's all there is to it. And then here's a cutscene skip coming up.
Yeah,
Or
wonderful.
a camera pan skip, rather.
Yeah, when the
Yeah,
camera
so-
jerked there, right as he hit the button with player one, he just instantly dropped out, and it basically skipped the camera pan skip.
Yeah.
As simple
Yeah,
as
if
that.
you... What was that?
I was gonna say it saves like 5 to 6 seconds to skip that
Yeah.
entire camera pan.
Yep. All right, and now is probably the hardest level in the whole run.
Here we go.
This is where I have to manage a lot of input devices, so I'm going to be moving my mic off of my desk just to make that easier. So I'll be talking during the intro, but then Mello and Wazip are going to be covering the commentary during it.
Oh, definitely just mellow. I don't know what's even happening with this trick, to be honest. It is honestly one of the coolest things.
By the way,
Yeah.
are we getting static in someone's mic?
Might be dangerous.
Oh, I think that would be the sprinklers outside.
Nice.
I'm not gonna say sorry. I'll just say sorry on my neighbor's behalf.
All good.
All right.
No
All right,
worries.
so one thing I can't explain before this starts is that we're going to use a method to clip out of bounds here that's kind of interesting. If you drop out a player in this level, it will try to like warp their position to the other player, but it won't do it instantly. So if you call in as soon as you drop out, you'll call in somewhere between where you dropped out and where the other player is, and you can use that to get out of bounds. But now I'm going to move my mic and let Mello take over.
All right, Anorak is going to be going for it here, dropping out both players to get on the proper input devices, holding a specific angle. He pauses, and he gets the player out of bounds here. Now he gets a decent height boost on the first pod racer there as he attempts to respawn with the second pod racer and hit the mid-lap transition,
Nice.
which he does successfully. So that's lap one. There's a few more steps that he has to manage correctly here, dropping out now. And then calling back in the other player, hopefully staying forwards. Actually has a lot of speed here. And actually
Go back
will,
up here.
yeah, we'll have to be doing the backup here. He actually missed another trick that we like to do in this level because it saves a lot of time. Might be,
Is unfortunately missing the backup.
yeah, so gonna be missing, there's a lot of sections to this level. There's lap 1, lap 2, lap 3. We try to skip all of them with these tricks.
Yeah, so I had way too much speed there and went past a certain out-of-bounds clip spot.
So now we're gonna actually just have to drive the second lap, which normally we'd skip the entire lap, which would save a lot of time. But because he had too much speed, he actually missed the area, like he said, to go out of bounds. But this is fine. He hit the lap 1 part of the trick pretty nicely. And so now we're just gonna be going for the lap 3 skip, which actually saves the most out of any of the lap skips besides the second one. And hopefully he hits that as well as he hit the first lap skip. And so we're going to actually be doing the trick now that he wanted to do earlier, going out of bounds there. Ooh, getting a little funky camera here.
Yeah, a little funky.
Might mess up the setup for lap 3 here. Yeah, so unfortunately he paused a little too early and he tried to adjust it by frame advancing forward to get close enough to the rock to get out of bounds again. It ended up failing it, so he decided to bail and just drop out the second player. And now we're just going to be driving the lap normally. Whereas normally we'd like to skip the whole lap, at least at the higher levels of the game.
Yeah,
But that was still a good showcase. He showcased how to get out of bounds on the first lap properly and really nicely. He just gained too much speed out of bounds, and that messed up with the rest of the level for him. Very finicky
Yeah, so
trick, very hard to
that's-
perform. Have to have a lot of backup knowledge. So did about as good as you can expect for like a showcase setting like this.
Much better than I could
Yeah,
do.
that
that's for sure.
first mistake was that's a really uncommon mistake.
There's probably 15 or so people alive that can even perform the trick all the way through.
Yeah.
So That just
Pretty
goes to
difficult.
show how difficult it is. Also, Interact,
It
you
is a roller
muted
coaster.
yourself.
Yeah. Wait, did I mute?
But yeah, that was God Fraud / Pod Fraud.
Was I muted?
Yeah, you muted during lap 3 when you,
Oh,
like,
I
dropped
must
out
have
player
accidentally
2.
pressed the hotkey on my keyboard.
Yeah, all good.
Because that is
Nice.
one of the. That's exactly where like I'm doing two things on 2 controllers, and then I have to press a button on the keyboard. So when I reached over, I must have pressed the mute button.
All good.
All right, so yeah, that first mistake was a very uncommon mistake, going past the out of bounds rock that you use to get out of bounds. The second mistake is way more common. That lap 3 clip is very difficult. You have to hold a specific angle on the controller and then pause at a very specific time. And then you can get out of bounds like I did on lap 1. So, I kind of expected that there was a good chance I'd miss that, but it is unfortunate that I missed the lap 2 skip, because that one's very uncommon to miss.
That's true.
But yeah, now it is Retake Theed Palace. And this is a decently long, purely execution-based level. There's a few tricks, but they're pretty easy, so it's mainly based on how you can execute them. I mean, I guess left side. Left side is difficult, but purely because of the execution of it.
Yeah, we'll point that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little bit of RNG in this level as well, and one of the first rooms with buttons and AI and how they get on the buttons. But yeah, every room in here basically has some tech going to it, so it's going to be a gauntlet for him to go here. We'll start off with the theater clip. So he's going to be attempting to push the player through the wall with this speeder. Have to line yourself up right here and use the front of the speeder and successfully clips him out of bounds pretty fast there. And gonna be getting the instant transition hit from under the floor. Now he's going to be switching to characters in a very specific order and also dropping out R2 like automatically. So a lot of stuff just happened there, and he got very nice RNG on the buttons here. All the AI characters that are in your party got on the buttons very quickly. So this is a pretty good beginning.
You want to discuss why I switched to Panaka before R2 there?
Yeah, I could do that real quick. It sets up for a trick called Theed Out of Bounds. It's in the room, 2 rooms from now. You want to have Panaka in a specific position in the party so that he spawns next to a wall so that you can push him out of bounds. Or sorry, push him past a transition, which then will put him out of bounds. And we'll talk about that when it happens. But
Yeah,
now he
Anorak's
will
about to... Oh, go ahead.
No, you go, you know.
Oh, okay. I was just going to say Anorak's about to do what's called left side, where you basically just do a nice couple precise jumps to get up quicker to where you need to go for the next room. Yeah, just nice space jumps, gets it first try, no problems there. That saves, 10 or so? I'm not sure, honestly.
No, it's not quite 10. It's maybe 5 if you do it
5.
perfectly. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I know compared to, the one-player strats there, that's for sure. But this is the out of bounds that they were just mentioning here.
He'll be killing Panaka and attempting to push him past the transition here, and he does successfully and gets under the floor. So now he'll be doing a series of out-of-bounds jumps in order to get through the room, but not pop back in bounds. And he should be getting it first try there. Yeah, very nice navigation.
Yeah, I guess I'll kind of discuss how the out of bounds works in this game, because this level's pretty boring. You just get to the end of it. If you get out of bounds and you go under the floor, as long as you're holding the input stick, you will not fall. But if you let go of it, you will fall straight down. So you can just run under any floor that you can normally run on. So getting out of bounds can let you do a lot of things in this game.
Absolutely. Here he'll be doing a series of camera pan skips by switching with the second player while doing actions on the first player. So it's pretty technical 1P2C. Yeah, very nicely performed there. He hit every single one of them with no issues, and he shot 2 droids at the same time. So there's a lot of task overlap in this game when you control 2 players. He'll be attempting a little trick right here where during a camera pan, he'll be using force to allow the second player to move, which he's doing right now. So that would normally not be possible unless he was forcing that yellow spaceship. So very nicely done there. That was pretty great.
That would have golded if I didn't save. Unfortunately, I had to save to be safe, but that would have golded if I had not. That was a really good
nice.
feed.
Yeah.
That man would be proud.
He would be.
All right. Yeah, so now we're going into the last level of the first episode. This is where we fight Darth Maul. Pretty technical level, a few tricks, but mostly just 1P2C execution. Like this level just was. Decent.
Yeah, there was a trick right at the start, and then one big room of just pure execution, and then kind of a trick towards the end. You have to hit Maul frame perfectly with both characters, and that'll skip a cycle. But first, I have to get through lamp jump, which is not very hard, so should get it pretty quickly here.
Yes, that's the hope. This trick is kind of known as like a mental trick. Like you can know everything that goes on behind it, and then you think you do it perfectly, and it just fails. So usually it's just skill issue, though. Yeah, perfect.
Clean.
Yeah, he collides with some collision under the lamp there, out of bounds, and then hops to the top of the lamp there.
Yeah, that skips a whole kind of fight with Maul. I think it saves about 45 seconds.
It might even be more.
You have to normally force objects back at him that he'll throw at you, and then he'll run away, and you can force the bridge down. But if you do that, it just skips all of it.
Yeah, very large time save.
He also did some parkour there that you can just jump all the way up to that area at the very top of that. I don't know what to call it. That last room, I guess, and it basically just skips a bunch of forcing and parkour that you'd have to do otherwise.
Yeah, very flashy movement there. And now, we're going into DM3, which is just about clearing droids. You want to clear these yellow guys first in order to prevent them from spawning more droids, so he'll be doing that in a specific way here. Yeah, he'll be using player 2 to force the droid off and then keep him at that side of the bridge while dropping out and running to the other side with player 1. And then he'll remove the command droid and then start killing droids. Yeah. This is pretty RNG section. There's like 3 or 5 seconds of variance depending on how good the force pushes are on the droids. We're going to be clearing some droidica here. He will do a slam on this one and then call in the second player after slamming the second droidica.
Yeah, there's a little bit of RNG there too. Sometimes player 2 will follow you up top, and that makes it quicker because you can call him in sooner. Sometimes he'll kind of run away and then run back, and that makes it so that you have to call in a little bit later. But only like a couple seconds lost, maybe.
Yeah, this is pretty nice
cycle
Maul.
skips.
Yeah, this is the frame perfect trick he was speaking about earlier. The goal is to take a heart of damage from Maul and then hit him with both players of the same frame. So unfortunately, he didn't get it there because he would be missing 2 hearts and not jumping away. He's going to go for it again here.
Damn. Nope. Either of them.
Yeah, he wasn't close on either of them. The way you can tell that he was close is if he took both hearts, but the guy still jumped away. Then you know you're only 1 frame off with one of the players. Unfortunately, he didn't get it that time. It's kind of hard to be frame perfect on 2 input devices. But it saves a lot of time if you do. It saves around 8 seconds or so combined. But that's Darth Maul. And that's the first episode of the run completed. In pretty good time, actually.
Once this cutscene is done, we're going to save the game and then actually restart the game because that's faster than having to watch the end of episode cutscene. Each level has an intro cutscene, an outro cutscene, and then each episode has an outro cutscene. So if we save it after the outro cutscene to this level and restart the game, it'll skip that episode outro. And then we'll be on to episode number 2.
Yeah. If you want to read any announcements or anything real quick, Dangerous, while he resets the game, that'd be good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, folks, if you're looking to get more involved with the GDQ community, you should join the official Games Done Quick Discord and add the Hotfix role to stay in the loop on upcoming events, chat with staff like myself, and more. Use !Discord in Twitch chat for an invite and for more info.
Wonderful.
And then additionally, Awesome Games Done Quick 2026 will be live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania from January 4th to 10th. If you would like to help out by volunteering for the event, submit your application by October 5th. That's coming up soon. There's only 4 days away. And if you would like to attend, registration is also open, so be sure to visit if you want to experience the event in person. And you can upgrade to a foil badge by November 1st. That's a new thing that we're doing with this event is foil badges. So you can do that up until November 1st, 1 month away. Visit gdq.gg for more info.
Hey, Anorak, could you restream on Discord real quick?
Oh. Yeah, I'm gonna just have to alt-tab and lose time. That's fine, though.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh no, losing time?
Happens.
All right, we're good. Assuming you can see it.
Yeah, we're good.
Yep, we can see it now.
All right, so now is the first true ship level of the run. Pod Race is kind of a ship level, but it works very differently than the other ship levels. And controlling 2 ships is kind of more difficult than controlling 2 characters, because the handling of them is a lot different than like being able to turn on a dime with a character. So I'm going to be still using controller player 1 and keyboard player 2. So you're going to be seeing me take much better lines with player 1, and then player 2 is going to be doing a lot of wiggling, because keyboard cannot take perfect lines all the time.
Yeah, the control stick is way better at taking good lines. Having to like tap between like forward and right on the keyboard, it's pretty like bad. That's why I think that's a big reason why people stopped playing double keyboard as the run has gotten more optimized. And so yeah, the hardest part of this level is the 2 light rooms coming up, like light/torpedo rooms. This first section is just moving.
Yeah,
holding
you just get
forward.
to the end of this room.
Exactly. But yeah, he'll be going into it now. There's 6 sets of like posts that you have to get rid of at the top of the screen, but before you can do that, you have to eliminate 6 turrets that are guarding them. So he'll be doing that here, hopefully quickly. Using both players. Hits the first light and then also hits a second light very quickly. Now we're going to be collecting torpedoes here. 3 on both characters is the goal.
Only grab 2 with player 1 there.
Yep, still pretty quick clear here.
Oh, and I blinked.
Yeah, the targeting
totally your
system.
fault.
Yeah. No, the torpedoes sometimes will just hit a wall and explode before they hit their target. There's a little bit you can do to help with that. Sometimes it's unavoidable.
Yeah, that one looked pretty perfect, so that one just missed because the game is good.
Yeah.
And it actually loses a decent amount of time to miss a torpedo, like probably 5 seconds or so, because you can't retarget the thing until the torpedo has like blanked. So actually quite annoying. But yeah, he'll be going into the second of the light rooms now. Instead of there just being the top turrets and posts, there will actually be some on the bottom now. So he has to clear double what he had to on the first attempt. So, and he also has to hit 2 more lights than he had to in the first room. So this one is just all about execution with 2 ships.
Yeah, luckily the 2 lights that you have to hit are straight ahead after you spawn, so it's really not difficult to hit those. And then 2 more lights that you have to hit down here. Player 2 died, but I should be able to hit it, or player 1 rather.
Yeah, very nicely done there. Probably has a few turrets to clear out still on the bottom, but now he'll be using the torpedoes on the top section here, hoping for no blanks. Very nice. Yeah, he'll be doing the same on the bottom now.
Yeah, unfortunately, I got a few wild torpedoes because we call it dunks on the torpedo when you shoot it and it instantly hits the target. But I was just too far away from the target, so the torpedo kind of goes where it wants to and then maybe hits the target if it's feeling good.
Yeah, and then that was the boss fight there. If you blinked, you might have missed it. He actually just started spamming with both of his players, and Zam just spawns immediately in your field of view, so you can just immediately eliminate her within seconds. Not even a second.
That's another notable difference about ship levels. With normal players, like the characters, there's a limit at how fast you can shoot their blasters, but ships you can just spam as fast as you want, and it will shoot as fast as you're spamming.
It's a very nice BHP or Bounty Hunter Pursuit for him. Going into Discovery on Camino, pretty iconic location in the Star Wars universe. And we're going to be playing through the only level that takes place on it in this game.
Quite a few tricks in this level.
Yeah, this level is a trick gauntlet. Some pretty hard to perform tricks here, or just annoying tricks to perform, I'd say.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the easiest levels in episode 2 if you don't do these tricks that save a few seconds, but if you do them, it becomes one of the hardest.
Yeah.
I got that one first try.
Yeah, that one was R4 fly. Basically, he put Obi-Wan in a certain position and then flew R4 to the other end and flew off that platform at a specific position in order to manipulate the camera to allow him to just fly to the trigger there, instead of like having to go all the way to the other end of the room, force something, wait out of a cutscene for a bridge to appear. It just saves a lot of time.
Yeah, there is an invisible wall there that tries to make R4 lose his fly, but you can just fly around it if you fly precisely enough. Mm-hmm. And then that was a super jump cancel. If a player thinks they're stuck, then they will try to jump to the last like safe spot that they were in, and they will jump through anything, walls. The only thing they won't jump through actually are door transitions, and we're gonna see that be useful later in the run. But you can interrupt the super jump with a few different things, including a force push, and that's what I did there. So that's how I was able to get R4 out of bounds and skip another cutscene. And then actually after this, I'm going to instantly skip another cutscene. This level has, I think, 3 cutscene skips, right?
Yeah, that sounds correct.
Because there's a lot of intros in these levels too. Those are skippable, unlike the intro and outro cutscenes.
Yeah, so that simple thing he did of just going into that corner and jumping while calling in P2 allowed him to warp R4 into the other room, which bypassed the mid level cutscene and just a lot of gameplay. So that saved a considerable amount of time just for a simple few inputs there.
Yep, and then this room is pretty simple. You just avoid the bombs and get to the end of it as soon as possible, and then you just have to wait at this button.
Yes.
This button is not activatable until Boba or Django goes up the elevator.
Mm-hmm.
And you fly across with R4, activate the other button, and then I'm actually going to die with R4 as I enter the next room. And if you do it in a certain way, as you can see, R4 has ghost hearts now. It looks like he's supposed to be dead, but he's alive, and that means he is invincible.
Yeah, he can no longer take damage. Yeah. It's pretty good. We use this actually at a few levels to save quite a bit of time. All right, he's setting up for the Camino clip here. He's going to hopefully get Obi-Wan right there and avoid the transition, which he did perfectly there. The biggest concern about what just happened is that he has to worry about how many droids he just killed, and I believe he just killed 4. Yeah. So that's going to affect his seed value in a level coming up called Jedi Battle, and we'll explain that more when it happens, but that is the only way to influence the seeds, and he got a pretty high number of droids killed there, unfortunately. But now we're going to be fighting Django here. He has a specific set of actions that he does. You slash him 3 times to begin the fight, and then deflect shots into him for another 3 stages of the fight, and now he'll be going from one side of the room to the other side of the room and shooting rockets, which you can instantly force back into him, which you don't even see it happening, but a rocket just came out of Django, but he immediately forced it back into him. And now he'll be killing Django. Or sorry, not killing him, but...
Yeah, that was a pretty good Camino. Besides killing 4 droids, which obviously does not lose time in this level, but it might lose me time in a later level. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about that once we get to it, because it's only 2 levels from now.
Exactly. Yeah, so that was a pretty good Camino. All the tricks he hit first try and had no major errors or deaths or anything.
Yeah,
so.
I unfortunately can't see my splits because when I tabbed out to start the stream again, Discord is now on top of my second monitor, but that should have been pretty good. Probably not a gold, though.
No. Your gold's pretty good here. And that is a pretty long ending cutscene. That was roughly 41 seconds. So that goes to show how much of the run is actually just cutscene. I think it's like 51-ish minutes of the entire run are just cutscene.
My God.
Yeah.
That's so much.
Yeah, this is actually one of the longest in the game right here. So if you have anything else that you want to read out, it'd be a great time.
Yeah, folks. If you have missed out on any of our Hotfix shows, I remember there was somebody in chat earlier who was saying they didn't even know that Hotfix ran all year long. So if there's any previous shows you want to catch up on, we have everything uploaded to our YouTube. All of our Hotfix shows, our special events, all the mainline events are all over at our YouTube, youtube.com/gamesdonequick. And if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay up to date with GDQ. And you should totally come follow us over at twitch.tv/gamesdonequick, and you can watch these live. Just saying.
Wonderful. Yeah, it syncs up perfectly here with the end of the cutscene. We're going to be going into Droid Factory. This is a pretty technical level in episode 2. A lot of character management, and it's actually funny. Anorak is going to be doing some strategies in this level that only he does, basically.
Well, just the one.
Well,
a lot of people do bucket fly now.
Yeah, we'll explain.
But yeah, the other one is it is actually slightly slower, but more consistent on average for me. So that's why I do the second strat that most people normally don't do. Because that room has a lot of variance, so I'd rather take like a second time loss and have the room be much more consistent than normal.
Yeah, so we're actually coming up on a droideka. I forget his name, but he loves to kill you, and it loses 2 or more seconds. He actually avoided him nicely there.
Yeah, we do have a name for him, but I also forgot his name.
I definitely don't know it. I don't know. There's no way.
It starts with
Thankfully, he is pretty easy to avoid. Yeah. Sometimes you'll get unlucky and take a death there.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, now Anorak will be setting up for a strategy called Pixel Bucket or Bucket Fly, and he'll be attempting to hit a certain pixel of the wall with R2 here and prop himself up in order to skip this section of the level. And he did it perfectly.
Clean.
Yep, that lets you complete the level with R2 alone, or the room rather. Mm-hmm. You normally have to shoot some targets that activate like mini cutscenes and then take the slow bucket cycle over. But instead, we can just go to the end with R2.
Yeah, and he also was able to use the R2 panel through the bombs there, which was another oversight by the developers. So just very good skips all around here. This room, all that you have to do is manage both players on the platform while forcing the turnstiles. And he does very nice to do that. And so this is the room he was speaking about earlier. This is the cave room. Lots of variance. First, a bit of variance is here with the power-up. Right there, that is a power-up. It lets you do double damage and also makes you invincible for the time, like the length of how long it is on you.
Yeah, that power-up has a small chance of like jumping down the room basically and being a lot quicker to collect, but unfortunately it kind of got stuck in the cave there, and I wasn't able to do that.
Yeah, so now he'll be doing the strategy that only he does. He'll be attempting to set spawns with R2 there in order to get him in the specific position he wants him in and force him into the wall. That might work,
I hope.
Let's see.
No. All right, yeah, so unfortunately, this droideka stayed alive when he was 1 health. I had to try to get R2 around him, but it didn't exactly work, and I set a respawn early. But if I do this right, R2's only safe respawn should be way over there on the left, and he'll jump and hit the door transition.
Nice.
Like I said before, the super jumps get stuck or stopped by a few things, one of those being a door transition. So if you get him stuck on the door transition and then call him in again, he'll just hit the door.
Yeah, very nicely done there. We collected another power-up to end the room. We're just going to be forcing these chains off of Obi-Wan. Just have to kill some Geonosians and we'll end the level.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty good besides having to do the super jump a second time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very nicely done. He hit the pixel fly. He was good in the lava room, like the turnstile room. It's just the droidekas staying alive that can muddy that up.
All right, and now this is the level that has RNG that we're able to manipulate. There's a few things that can change the RNG value. One of them being the characters that spawn in the cantina. You can get between 0 and 2. Mm-hmm. Normally you get 0 or 1. Very rarely you get 2. And then the second thing is the droids that I killed in Camino. Each one that you kill will iterate the seed by 1. Normally we try to kill 2 there because seeds 2 and 3, which would be the most common you'd get after killing 2, are pretty good. but I killed 4 on accident, and Seed 4 is okay, and Seed 5 is a lot worse.
Yeah, Seed 5
So
is
that's
basically unknown. But yeah,
Yeah,
he'll
that's
be...
the seeds that we're talking about are going to be for the RNG waves that happen after these first few pillars. The droids that spawn that you have to kill will be in different spots based on that RNG value.
Exactly. So not only do we have to worry about all the input devices and all like the trick knowledge in this run, you also have to keep track of your RNG, at least for the beginning of the run here, to know what seed value you'll be on for this level. Yeah, so he's going to be collecting...
Power up despawn there?
Yeah, power up despawn, meaning that the power up just actually fell through the floor, so he was unable to collect it, which can happen. But yeah, he will clear out the first 3 pillars there, and we're hoping for Seed 4. I'll be able to tell you guys pretty quickly if it is Seed 4, or if not, we'll see. I don't know if that's normal for Seed 4. We'll see.
That is possible on Seed 4. Just normally that droid doesn't spawn there.
Right. If he has 2 here, this probably is just Seed 4. I believe. Yeah, so he got very lucky. When he was between episode 1 and episode 2, no additional cantina people came in and iterated his seed, so it didn't matter that he killed 4 droids in Camino there.
Oh yeah, and then now that it's Seed 4, I know exactly what to do for the second wave. I'm gonna just come over here and kill these 2 droids, or these 3 droids rather. Or 4.
Yeah, I think it's...
No. Yeah. 4, and then there's going to be 2 more farther on the left. That's right.
Exactly. Yeah, so a lot of knowledge
These
here.
last 2.
Yeah, this is pretty good.
Yeah, so normally I don't go for Seed 4, but it still works out fine.
Yeah,
like I said, Seed 5 is a lot worse.
Exactly. That was pretty good. And now he'll be fighting Django for the second and last time. This time he will be slaying him. Just simple timing here. As soon as you see Django basically get out of his invulnerability frames, you just shoot or punch him.
Yeah, if you hit him during the invulnerability frames, he will have invulnerability frames for even longer. So you want to hit him right after that happens.
Yeah, all timing. But yeah, that was a very well performed Jedi battle. And now we're only 2 more levels until the end of episode 2 and the end of Anorak's leg.
Yep, another ship level after this.
Yes.
Much shorter one, though.
Shorter, but a little bit aggravating. It's called Gunship Cavalry, and we'll be using those gunships that just took us away from the stadium in this level.
Yeah, this one casually is pretty annoying. Normally you have to drag some bombs across this barren wasteland here, and basically we're gonna skip that entirely by just doing using 1 bomb to get past this first gate here on the right side. So Anorak's gonna blow up this right thing here. I don't know what it's called, and then do a nice little spin around the gate that gets around it.
It looks like you can get around that barrier without the bomb at all, but the wall actually extends farther out until you hit that first bomb. So you need to destroy that, and then you can go around it. And then that was a little bit off.
Yeah, and to get around this one, you have to spawn in or drop in player 2 at a very specific time, and then go around the rock.
Take a second.
Go around the rock there and hit the trigger behind the gate, which Anorak's able not to get it now. But
not exactly. This is not really a hard trick, but I do struggle with it from time to time, and there it is.
And not just Anorak, everyone does. It is one of those tricks where you get it first try or you don't get it at all, it feels like.
Yeah, you fail.
Yeah, it is kind of weird to back up because of the ship movement. You got to get back to that position, and sometimes it feels like these ships are working against you.
Most definitely. You'll be seeing some cool gameplay here. He actually did successfully get Ghost Hearts in the last room. He died while player 2 was hitting the transition, so he has Ghost Hearts. So he is invincible. The only thing that could kill him is if he accidentally blew himself up with one of his own bombs. But now he is just tugging the bombs to these lasers, which will remove the force fields and allow him to shoot those blue pegs to end the level. We'll have to go back for that one before towing the bomb. But you do this in a very specific way so that you end up with all the lasers destroyed and all the force fields like broken. So very nice there.
And a power-up duplication at the end that does nothing because the level's over. But if you grab certain things on the same frame with both players, you can duplicate them. Notably power-ups and torpedoes, which can be useful later in the run.
Exactly.
But not useful there. That does nothing.
Yeah, when I was setting up for this this relay, I did end up getting True Jedi there, so there's going to be some inconsistencies between our two files, but that's fine.
Yeah, that should be good.
Yeah, I just thought it's funny. All right, we do have Dooku Skip coming up here if you want to explain it, Mello.
Sure. I mean, yeah, so he's just going to be pushing player 1 out of bounds by forcing while he's on top here and then dropping out player 2. Now he'll be walking player 1 to a specific spot on the floor past the transition and then slashing with the Jedi and calling in the second player, which immediately hits the transition, and he skips the first room of Count Dooku there, which saves considerable amounts of time.
Yeah, so that's basically a transition inside of a transition. So that's why you kind of have to do it by pushing player 1 out of bounds. And you have to call in player 2 at a very specific time so he hits the transition that is kind of between two transitions. Otherwise, you just activate the fight in the last room. But if you hit the correct transition, you end up in this Dooku fight right away.
Yeah. Very well done there. I believe that was found by Senor, which is one of the better players that plays this game.
Yeah, kind of a veteran of this game.
Yeah, he's been around for a long time.
Yeah,
So there's different phases of this Count Dooku fight. Really, you're just trying to complete them as quickly as possible. There's not much to speed this up. You really just have to wait on Dooku to perform his actions.
Yeah, and as Anorak is finishing up here, we are coming close to the end of this this leg here, just to let the people know.
Yeah. So after this end cutscene is when we're going to pause the timer.
Yeah. As soon as he says pause. But yeah, we're navigating this lightning cycle here. He'll shock player 1, and then you damage with player 2. And we're about to defeat Count Dooku.
All right. That's it for the gameplay. And once this cutscene's over is when we're going to pause it. It's a pretty short cutscene, so get ready for that.
All right.
And pause.
Nice. Well done.
Yeah, that was not bad. Besides the pod race, I wish went better, but it was pretty good besides that.
That was an excellent showcase.
Yeah, I mean, you never want it to go absolutely perfectly because you want some things to go a little wrong so chat knows just how difficult some of these runs are.
Yeah, that's true. I couldn't make it look too easy, or they wouldn't be impressed.
Yeah, you gotta give them a little bit of the difficulty in there. But nice, cool. All right, we're gonna take a quick break, folks, and we're gonna get set up for the next runner in our little relay here. Before we take that break, though, I do want to thank. I saw somebody cheer some bits earlier. Thank you for everyone for supporting the Games Done Quick with your subscriptions, gift subs, and bits cheered. Your contributions help keep our shows running. If you're enjoying the stream, consider subscribing for exclusive emotes, ad-free viewing, and access to chat during replays. And you can always support the stream for free by sharing Games Done Quick with your friends and loved ones. But yeah, we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, leg 2 of our Star Wars relay. We'll see you soon. All right, I'm up. Welcome back to Crosshair here on the GDQ Hotfix. We are moving along with our Star Wars Lego The Complete Saga run, our relay run. And coming up next, we just had Anorak do episodes 1 and 2. Now we've got Wazip running episodes 4 and 6 because we're just not going to go in order. We're just not going to do that. But yeah, Wazip, take it away.
Alrighty. Without further ado, we're going to get right back into this. So I guess on go, I will we'll start the timer. So 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So thank you. So the first thing that we're going to do when we enter the cantina here is actually we're going to go straight to the shop. So for those that did see Anorak pick up that red brick in Gunship Cavalry. We did get exploding blaster bolts, so we're just going to buy that real quick here. And I'm instantly going to switch to a player 2 to try to cut down on some time there as well. Oh, I could have switched to Yoda. That would have been nice. It's fine. Alrighty, but we are going to jump into Secret Plans, the first level of episode 4. This level isn't really trick heavy per se. There's a lot of small tricks that are done throughout, but for the most part, it's a lot of execution and just trying to complete the level as fast as you possibly can.
Exactly. Yeah, so episode 4 and episode 6 considered the hardest 2 episode stretch in the run, I'd say, and we're actually giving it to Wazip here, the newest of all of us. So
it's fine because I'm just gonna perform. I'm gonna do the best, and I might even be on world record pace. Who knows? Even though it is a relay race or a relay run.
Yeah, so this is one of the longer cutscenes as well in the game, the Secret Plans intro. So a lot of time to dwell between get the Cantina movement and now. He'll be turning on exploding blaster bolts in this level and keep it on for a decent amount of the episode, turning it off and on as needed. But yeah, we'll get going into Secret Plans here for Wazip.
Yeah, and just like the very start, there will be a point where I do tab in and out to change my refresh rates, and I'll mention that obviously when we get there. But just a little mention for tricks that are coming up. Oh wait, I'm already switched. Never mind. I'm forgetting how to play the game already. This is great. Alrighty. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna go with Leia, and I'm forgetting his name. Antilles. Thank you. And we're just gonna be punching these stormtroopers as fast as we possibly can, getting the power up with Leia to make sure that we can build a little faster these 2 generators at the top. I'm gonna take my movement just a little safe here, just to ensure I don't fall off, because that is something that I do quite consistently, and it's not a good. It's not good in terms of time save. But as this bridge is going across, I'm gonna do a nice little space jump there. Getting a nice little edge jump to make sure that I do end up doing it. I'm going to quickly pause. Oh, I do. That was not what I meant to do, but that's fine. But we are going to turn on exploding blaster bolts there and drop out with Leia, making sure to shoot that thing on the right side there, right as the arms pull away that pulled him out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Wazip... Sorry, you go, Anorak.
All right, I was going to say, as soon as we turn on exploding blaster bolts is going to be the first time save with it, because that little generator you blow up normally takes 4 shots with non-exploding bolts, but it will blow up instantly if you hit it with EBB, which is exploding blaster bolts. And we're going to see uses for that throughout the rest of the run.
Yeah, so he'll intentionally kill both players here to have invincibility to eliminate those troopers, and then he will be getting his characters managed in the specific way so that after this cutscene, because we will be losing Leia after this cutscene, he'll have the players where he needs them for the rest of the level.
And then in the next room, we have a trick called Super Crane, where you put C-3PO right at the edge of a death plane and then pick him up with a crane as he walks off. Normally, you're not supposed to be able to pick him up like that, but if you do it right, you can just grab him basically out of midair and skip most of the stuff you have to do in this room, because he can just go straight to the end, activate that panel, and open the door. And you can see that he also got Ghost Hearts here. Another way to get Ghost Hearts is he has it on both players. He did the room transition Ghost Hearts, where you die right as you hit the room transition, but also grabbing C-3PO like that. You kind of grab him after he dies, but he'll be in the crane and alive, but with no hearts. So another way to get Ghost Hearts. Yeah, but if you swap while you have Ghost Hearts, you lose Ghost Hearts, unfortunately. But you don't really need them on player 2 here, but they are helpful on player 1.
Exactly. Yeah, so he'll be eliminating these troopers and getting R2 to the end of the room as quickly as possible to use the panel. This is another section where you're just really managing the 1 player 2 controller strategy to perfection.
Wrong character. There we go.
Yeah, very nice.
Let's drop back in, don't we?
Yeah, that was a redrop, yeah.
That was, yeah. Forgot to reset my game, I think. It's fine.
Yeah, so that can happen sometimes.
Oh, no.
So I was supposed to switch to 3PO there to activate this panel, but The thing that I constantly do, being a runner that's still fairly new, is mix up my buttons. So that would have been a really good secret plans had I not deactivated 3PO there. But it does happen on occasion. But yeah, normally you're supposed to switch to him, and then you use the panel with 3PO, and then you drop in as player 1. It instantly drops to R2, and then you're able to finish the level pretty quickly.
Yeah. That was pretty good, though. He couldn't have really done anything else. Once you zap him, you kind of just have to wait the time before he comes back. You can try.
I mean, he could have called in on player 1 and tried to switch to Antilles and then blown him up, and he might respawn faster than he would take to stand back up. But at that point,
I just thought it was funnier.
Back in on R2. Yeah, that is also funnier.
It's very good.
And then this is a pretty long cutscene into a pretty long cutscene. So if you have anything you want to talk about first, if not, then we can discuss some of the tricks coming up.
Yeah, long cutscene is perfect. That gives me plenty of time to let folks know about Black in a Flash. That is our community that uplifts and connects Black speedrunners of all levels, hosting special events throughout the year to raise money for charity and celebrate Black voices in the speedrunning scene. Learn more or apply to get involved at gdq.gg/BAF and follow at Black in a Flash on Blue Sky for the latest updates.
Wonderful. Yeah, so we'll be going into one of the harder levels in the run, in my opinion, called Junlin Waste, or Into the Junlin Waste. This is the second level in episode 4. Just a lot of tricks in this level that can go very wrong and lose a lot of time because of the quicksand that is in the level, which takes quite a long time to actually kill the player before it allows them to respawn. So we're going to be seeing Wazip navigate it here.
Yeah, one of the first tricks I'm going to go for is called Slow Force. Basically, I pop out of bounds with Luke and do a good bit of 1P2C movement to try to cleanly get the red brick called Fast Force that Anorak mentioned earlier in the run. And I'm going to be quiet because this is a pretty tough trick.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you respawn with Luke once you do that. I'll let you guys explain it if you want.
All right, he is out of bounds. Now here's the tough part. Yep, a little too low there. You have to kind of stay at the perfect position in this rock wall. Otherwise, Luke will fall out of bounds one way or fall out of bounds the other way. But if you do it just right, you can get through it. And now he's in a good spot where he's out of bounds and on a pretty safe area. Mm-hmm. And he's going to send Obi-Wan up ahead while sending Luke over to the right to grab the red brick that's over there.
Yes.
And the camera will kind of snap over and he'll jump up and get the red brick, drop out, and then he's at the end of the room with Obi-Wan.
That is the trick nice. I was probably most nervous for, to be honest. So glad I got that out of the way. Thank goodness.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, good recovery on my part, honestly.
Yeah, very. That is pretty tough to back up because the camera's in a slightly different spot. If Obi-Wan's standing in a different spot, and you kind of have to do the out of bounds in a little bit more like a different, more makeshift fashion if you've already died out of bounds. But now he's going to do a pretty easy, well, very easy trick called Bantha Hop, where you just bring this Bantha over to the entrance to the sandcrawler and just double jump out of it, and you hit the transition.
Yes. It saves a considerable amount of time to doing the casual strats for this. Actually, is this
there is an even faster strat? No. I don't think so. I don't think that's intended. Yeah. But there is actually a faster strat that is much harder. It looks very easy because it's just a double jump, but it is like a perfectly spaced double jump at a perfect angle. And that jump will save you having to use the Bantha, and you kind of jump and hit that transition quicker, but it is very hard.
Yes. So he just opted to ride the Bantha there. So yeah, we're in the Sandcrawler now. Pretty heavy 1P2C section of the level. Just managing R2, Luke, and Obi-Wan.
Yeah, there's really no tricks inside here. It's just execution.
Yeah, going to be hitting sets of buttons here and pulling these levers at a good time. Eliminating some Jawas, which will try to shock R2 and deactivate him, so do need to take care of them before entering this room. And he does, nicely. Now he'll be freeing C-3PO, which we need to get out of this room, pushing him ahead and also punching him a little bit. Wonderful.
And then in this next room, there are multiple tricks. This is where the quicksand is. There's two quicksand sections that we can just jump over if we do it precisely enough. It saves a lot of time because you have to activate some panels with C-3PO and R2. But if you just jump around it in the right way, then you can skip it entirely. All right, so we're going to take a death there, but that should have set a respawn up on the rock.
Yeah.
And does get around. That one's definitely the harder of the two quicksand skips, especially hard to do without dying.
Yes.
And then he's just going to force the bridge here and go straight into the second quicksand skip.
Yeah, this one really is just about going around the quicksand. He might actually opt to jump out of bounds here somewhat. Yeah, he does.
Yep, and that one is done. Pretty easy. And one more trick in this level in the next room is going to be the hut clip, where you use the speeder to clip Luke into the hut.
Yes.
Which is where the end level trigger is. And normally you have to do a bunch of stuff to get C-3PO and R2 across, but if you just clip him in, you can hit the trigger right away.
Okay. Whenever you feel like it, man.
It is very easy to mess it up, and then when you mess it up, these troopers will really mess you up, but you have to kind of take the time to kill them.
Yeah. I'm not doing a good display of how this
There it
trick is
is.
done optimally, but that's fine.
Yeah, very good.
And then I guess we should go straight into explaining the trick in the next level, because there is a lot to explain.
Please do.
Sure.
So first, actually, we're going to use that same speeder clip to get through the first room. But a couple rooms after that, we're going to purposely activate a glitch called Player 3 glitch. And that is where, well, it's caused by the game trying to auto-switch to a character that is dead. And we're going to force the game to do that, and it will cause that player to be, you can't interact with them, you can't swap to them or anything, but they will constantly walk up left relative to the camera. This player in Player 3 glitch state is really useful. They can actually walk through certain triggers, like boss fight triggers, but they will hit other triggers like room transition triggers, including end level triggers. And that's what I'll explain for now, and we'll get to that. Once we see what happens, I'll explain it a little bit more in depth. So yeah, first in this room, we're just going to use that speeder again to clip Obi-Wan through a door.
A little bit finicky, this one, compared to the last one.
Really, I think this one's much easier than the last one.
I think they're about the same. I just have a little more trouble setting up both players in the correct position on this one.
Just
Does
like
get
that.
it first try, and that's nice.
Perfectly.
And then here, EBB is helpful. That's exploding blaster bolts, because it'll let you blow up that barrier instantly. And then actually, we're going to do a skip here. It lets you skip a fight if you send player 2 far ahead in the room and leave player 1 back. Normally, a bunch of troopers and droids will spawn in that you have to kill there, and then the door will open. But instead, just none of them spawn, and the door opens right away if you send player 2 ahead. And now is where he's going to try to activate Player 3 glitch.
Not quite. I think my camera was just
So
a
missed
little
it
off.
there.
Yeah.
Yep, you gotta have R2 and Obi-Wan off camera.
And they just don't want to stay off camera.
Yeah, you have to either set them to the right or have
There
the
we go.
camera be panned in a specific way. And then, yep, there it is. As you can see, C-3PO is just walking up left endlessly. And you can't
Yes.
switch to him. So
Don't
you're going to have to
think-
manipulate the camera to move him onto the buttons.
Oh, there
he is.
Yeah, he was taking a little bit too long. I was just going to reset it just to make it a little easier
Yeah.
for myself there.
So if you manipulate the camera right, then C-3PO will walk to the very left button.
What we can do here, though, is... Oh, okay. I didn't mean to deactivate R2 as well.
Oh, man.
Yeah, this is where it gets a little tricky, but not impossible.
I think he's going to move.
Yeah. It's okay. This is why they gave me the hardest the part of the run, guys. It's fine. So we're just gonna wait for 3PO to go back. I'm gonna wait till he goes all the way in the corner. That it'll make it just that much easier. So let me. Now we go down. Stand here for about a second or so. And make sure that we step on these buttons. There we go. Now
There
we get
it
the door
is.
open. That's how it's supposed to go the first time.
Nice.
All right, and now C-3PO is actually going to spawn in multiple rooms ahead of everyone else. The rest of the party will, actually. Han and Chewie are going to be the next two playable characters, and in the room after the first room we spawn in, the rest of the party is going to spawn way ahead, waiting for you to get to them, actually, but since C3PO has had player 3 glitch on him, he's really not waiting. He's going to be moving up left, even though the rest of the characters are going to be waiting. And Wazip is going to basically just move around specifically in the room and manipulate the camera in a certain way, and you're going to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, so the great thing about Han Solo is the fact that he has a dive roll that lets you move really, really fast around every single level compared to just walking normally. So I'm gonna be spamming the A button a bunch in the next, pretty much the next 2 episodes.
True.
And then he's going to do some weird, arbitrary seeming movement in this room and wait there. And the level ends because C3PO walks past the boss level trigger in the last room and into the end level trigger. Because the end level trigger is actually there before the boss fight, and then it doesn't open up again until after the boss fight, so you can just have the player 3 walk directly into it. That saves about 25, 30 seconds over what we used to do.
Yeah. Skips another also boss fight skip that was kind of a run killer. If you missed it, you lost considerable amounts of time, so now we just don't even have to worry about it anymore.
Yep.
Very nice. That was Mos Eisley Spaceport, and now we're going into Rescue the Princess for Wazip.
Yeah, Princess is one of those really easy to mess up levels if you don't do particular things correctly. I can't really explain it that well if you guys would like to.
Sure.
Well, firstly, you want to explain it? You want to explain like the Stormtrooper helmets and that stuff?
Yeah, let's go with that, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, there's Stormtrooper like panels that you have to use throughout the Death Star when you play on these Death Star levels. And so you have to collect a helmet on one of the players and then get to the panel and use it before getting the helmet shot off. There's ways that we kill the troopers in order to drop the aggro before we get to the panel, which hopefully will allow us to get to the panel and use it before dying. And they're usually pretty consistent. You just have to really manage the troopers and kill them properly before you grab the helmet off the dispenser. So that's really the biggest skill check here in Princess.
Yeah, it's very easy to make a small mistake and get the aggro and lose your helmet and have to go all the way back to the dispenser. And then there is one, it's kind of RNG, but you can back it up. There's a spot where Obi-Wan, his AI is supposed to show up on his own and activate a bridge or force a bridge for you. But he can actually just get stuck by barrels, like in a room that you can't see. Mm-hmm. And he'll keep trying to path around the barrels, but if it happens in a weird way, he'll just continually be stuck behind them. And there is a backup shot where you basically shoot through the wall with exploding blaster bolts to destroy the barrel. But hopefully he'll either go for that at the start, or hopefully he just won't have to worry about it and he just won't get stuck on the barrels, Obi-Wan. But we'll see that. That happens in this room here. Oh, he's also going to grab a red brick in this room by clipping Luke out of bounds.
I'm stuck, I think.
Yeah,
I don't think I'm stuck. Never mind.
Yeah, you're good.
There he is. So he grabbed the red brick. He's going to turn exploding blaster bolts back on. And that red brick is vehicle smart bombs.
No, that's tractor beam.
No, that is not. That is tractor beam. It's one of them. I don't know. So that red brick is useful in ship levels, and it will it creates a tractor beam on any enemies nearby, and it'll like pull them into you and kill them. And it's going to be useful in basically one level, but it's very useful in that level, so it's very worth it to take the couple seconds to grab it there. But that level is quite a bit later, and we'll see that. It's actually right at the end, of Wazip's leg.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about.
Get some water. Hold on.
Okay. So he killed the troopers in a very specific way there on both sides of the bridge in order to not get any aggro. So he's now basically like safe from the aggro. He could make another mistake in this room that could technically aggro the troopers, but he did really nicely there to avoid that. So just needs to make that jump over with the helmet player, and now should be good. It loses a good chunk of time if you are to lose the helmet in this room, but he should be good. It'll build a panel with player one and successfully use the panel. So now the hard part in this level is done, and really now we're just getting to Leia to rescue her.
Yeah, I think how dry my throat was there means that I should do a little less talking and leave it up to Wazip and Mello a little more. But
As if I know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
And we can actually quickly explain how the queuing refresh rates works, because we never really explained that fully.
Sure.
No, you want to do that?
Yeah, so basically we go to different refresh rates in the game for different tricks because it makes collision like on textures different. And so at the end of this level, he'll be switching to 40 hertz, which actually isn't even native to most monitors. So he'll probably be playing through OBS for the next level.
I'm just going to be looking at the audience for the rest of this level, pretty much.
Yeah, he'll be playing off OBS here. He switched to 40 hertz there, and it's going to allow him to do a skip, or one or two skips. I don't know specifically which ones he's going for, but in the next level that are exclusive to 40 hertz, basically. And then he'll be switching out of 40 hertz at the end of the level. So
I think you're doing both, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna go for both.
All right. So,
and there's also a third one that he might be going for, but it is.
No, I'm not.
No, okay.
I decided.
It's a very
not
difficult
to.
trick that saves, I think, 20 seconds, but no one has ever done it in a run. No one goes for it because it's so difficult. But he did mention he might have just tried to wing it earlier. But yeah, it's not really worth it.
No, I didn't even get out of bounds earlier, so I'm just not even gonna bother.
Yeah.
But yeah, right away we are going to see a trick he's going to go for. It's called trash skip, and 40 hertz helps with this one. That's one of the reasons he switched to 40 hertz.
Mm-hmm. He'll be basically attempting to pause on a specific, or not a specific frame, but on a specific like range of frames with this build to clip Chewie out of bounds.
Might work, might not. It doesn't. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you might have missed the pause button there because that was a very late pause.
Usually that setup works for me, but sometimes it doesn't. Yeah, it depends. 40 hertz. So essentially, you can do that trick on 60 hertz, I do believe. Oh, great. I have to get a helmet again. What's it called? You can actually do trash skip on 60 hertz. It's just the window to do it is a lot different than I think 40s is, if I'm not mistaken.
60 hertz is not only frame perfect, but also like you have to be frame perfect on pressing inputs on both players, but also you have to press it on a certain frame in like Chewie's idle animation. So the 40 hertz setup makes it a lot easier. Considerably.
The biggest issue is that a lot of runners don't have monitors that actually support 40 hertz. So Wazup's main monitor is just a black screen, and he has to play off OBS right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I could play off the input not supported screen, but I don't think I'd be able to play the game that well, to be honest.
Yeah, we shooting at the dark. But
it's possible, though.
It is. So now,
don't.
Yeah, this is a tricky section of the level where Wazup is going to attempt to keep the helmet all the way to the out of bounds section that he has to skip. And that's really the skill of this and the last level. He's going to be eliminating troopers properly and pushing this box along. This would be where he goes for the like impossible trick if he was to do it, but we are not doing that. So now he will be going towards the Ripmore skip. Found a few years ago, all it is just timing and an angle that you have to hold. He's going to come up on this rotating platform after pulling these levers and attempt to run into it at a specific angle and time in order to clip out of bounds, while also doing some menuing beforehand.
I wanted to go for it first try. No biggie.
Yeah, so the biggest problem about failing this trick is you lose the helmet, so you actually have to go to this room at the end and collect another one, which takes a little bit of time. I think like 8 to 10 seconds. But yeah, we're actually setting up, I can't believe we forgot to mention this, for a trick called Falconless. Yeah. It's a pretty big trick. There's normally a Falcon at the end of this level that you have to like clear out a bunch of troopers in order to enter and like raise it up a bunch of times. We're actually doing a trick where we go backwards in the level to save time. We're going backwards in order to put Chewie on this side of the room and load or deload the Falcon, basically. So Chewie's on this side of the wall, and Wazup will enter that door, and we have just successfully deloaded the Falcon at the end of the level. So now, once we get to the ending room, there's just going to be nothing. There's going to be no Falcon. There's just going to be
it doesn't deload the Falcon. It deloads the troopers in the last room. That's like the condition for the room to end.
Oops.
So normally you'd have to spend like a minute and a half or something doing this, the last room he's going to enter, not this one yet. But Yeah, you have to spend that time like killing troopers and doing a bunch of objectives with like C-3PO and R2 when they join your party. But by entering that swinging room and then going back to the previous room and passing an invisible spline, you're gonna load in all the troopers and then deload all the troopers. So the end level trigger is actually just available instantly, and it's gonna turn a very long room into one of the shortest in the game, assuming he hits this first try.
Gotta jump first to hit it though. Okay, let's do it a third time.
That's good.
There it is.
Wonderful.
So that's where he jumped to, is where the end level transition would normally spawn. Like there should be a Falcon there, and you enter the Falcon, but it just spawns in there if you deload the troopers correctly, and you jump into it, and the level's over.
Yeah, very nicely done.
Now I don't have to turn my head to the left, and now my neck can feel fine. Sweet.
Yes.
Yay for no more neck pain.
Yeah. That is one of the more annoying things about DSE. There is just not having a monitor that supports 40 hertz, but we got past it. We got through it. No worries. And now we move on to Rebel Attack, which is a lovely ship level.
Yes. It's actually the last level in episode 4. You manage 2 ships and shoot a lot of torpedoes, and then it comes to like a room 3 kind of like skip. You go out of bounds to avoid one of the longer rooms in the level. But one of the more consistent ship levels, I'd say, you just have to get the timing of the shooting of the torpedoes down and try to avoid taking deaths. That really is the biggest time loss on this level. So, yeah, we'll get to see him do that.
If we have any other announcements, I think now would be a great time to do that.
Yeah, this is a pretty long cutscene.
Sure. Y'all have given me so many opportunities. I'm basically out of announcements at this point. But yeah, there was a few people asking earlier about the hotfix schedule, and you can get access to that by typing !schedule in chat. And if you're curious about the full season lineup, you can find that at gdq.gg/hotfix.
All right. Just like that, we're into the level now, destroying that first target to go past this field. He's going to be trying to get a specific amount of torpedoes on both players so we can save the most amount of time. Going to be activating all these targets and shooting in a specific way to hit both at the same time fairly quickly. And he does, so he'll be removing the force field from this one, hopefully living, and does. Yep. So really nicely performed there. It has the max amount of torpedoes you can have on both players. And so he's going to be doing that same thing right here. He has really good heart count here, so shouldn't have to worry about taking a death. Does hit a double target, unfortunately, which will affect some things, but pretty nicely done there from Wazip. Going to be collecting a power-up, which always consistently spawns on that satellite. And then destroying the last of the targets here. All right, and here he'll be setting up for the room 3 out of bounds clip I mentioned earlier. See which variant of the trick he goes for. He goes for the easier version, where you ride the wall and then wait for a specific visual cue in order to get out of the wall and skip this entire room, and does it very nicely there. And we're in the mid cutscene.
So there's a transition there to take you back to the last room, but the wall collision just doesn't extend all the way to that transition. So you can slip between the transition and the wall and just get out of bounds. And then here is, I think, probably the easiest room in the whole run.
Yes.
If you hold up for the entire room, you will complete it as fast as possible.
That is easy.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about taking
hands.
any damage.
Yep, if you hold up, they will just continue to miss you every single shot. They're pretty bad. If you stand still enough, they can't see you, I think.
I was considering using my nose to do that part, to be honest. Or just like a different part of my body, just because of how easy that room is. But yeah, it really is as simple as going forward.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
one thing I forgot to mention as well, I am dropping in with player 2 during these cutscenes, which you can only do during ship missions. I don't know if that was mentioned.
Oh yeah,
good call.
Not sure why that is, but yeah, you can call in at any time during a ship level during the cutscenes. You can't do that normally, but then this is the last room. You just have to destroy a bunch of turrets and then wait for the heart of the Death Star to open up, and you shoot it.
Very good. Just like that, Wazip has destroyed the Death Star.
GG.
Yeah, so that is the end of episode 4. Now we move on to, in my opinion, probably the hardest, at least the next 4 levels we're going to go through, but we'll talk about that more when we get there, of course.
Yeah,
So just like Anorak did before in episode 1, I am going to be resetting my game as well, just because I do think I believe it's faster, if I'm not mistaken, to just reset your game. So
yes,
we'll be doing that really quickly.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, considerably faster. There's some tech here. You have to wait after hitting the finish story button roughly 3 or so seconds before you can actually restart the game, or you'll lose the progress for the most recently completed level. So a little bit of a waiting there actually has to occur. So,
and then this is actually going to be another a cantina trip as well as a long cutscene. So you said you have nothing else, but there is time here to talk about anything.
Well, yeah, I mean, this. I was actually going to ask this earlier because I know that the Lego speedrunning community is pretty big. There's a lot of you out there, and I figure with a community that big, there's a lot of people that kind of join doing the run for different reasons. So I'm curious what all of your different reasons were for learning this run. I am curious.
I'll go first since I started running 3 years ago, and it was because Summoning Salt uploaded a video covering the game. And This was one of my childhood favorite games, and I thought it'd be cool. I never thought it'd become like my main game. I just started running it for fun, and then I just kept going. I continually wanted to improve my time, and that's it. I've been going ever since.
I remember that video. Big fan of Summoning Salt over here.
That was one of his best videos, I think. I might be biased, though.
I believe it was one of the hardest videos he's had to make. There's a lot of content he covered. That was also the reason I got into the game, because I watched that actually quite a while later after it was released, and then I got into it just last year. So
yeah, for me, so I've been speedrunning for about, I think, 8 years coming up in next March. Obviously, Barnyard is my main speed game. Yeah, I've been doing this for a minute now, but I do hold the world record in a game called Barnyard. So I was like, I was kind of friends with some of the people in the Lego community already, as I did actually run the first Lego game. It's just called the video game, Lego Star Wars, the video game. And I don't have a really good time in it, but I did that about 6 years ago. The Summoning Salt video came out, and then all of my interest came to this game after that point. And now here I am on Hotfix 3 months later after learning it.
Welcome.
Pretty good turnaround time.
Yeah. But this is going to be Jabba's Palace here. It is one of the more trick-heavy levels for sure. A lot of little things I'm going to be doing here. I'll let Mello and Anorak talk more about the tricks when we get to them, specifically Spiderful, which will be coming up in the next room. But the first thing I'm going to be doing here quickly is turning on... Oh, well, never mind. Hold on. One of the things I will be doing real quick here is build this jukebox. It's happened. That's the second time. And then we're going to go to the extras, turn them on since I did just reset my game, so they will not automatically be on. So we do have to do that manually every time that we do reset the game. But yeah, what happened there, I basically just auto-dropped out of Chewie because I just went too far, which, like I said, second time it's happened to me. But I guess for some of the seasoned veterans of this game, they've not seen that before, so...
that one's
actually,
common.
In the next room, he's going to do a trick called Spider Full. It's called that because you use one of the spiders to get out of bounds. Unfortunately, he gets the worst spider spawn. It can kind of go in different directions when it spawns. And it's decided to stay at the far end of the room. But if he does this right, he can jump out, drop out. You just let him do it first.
Yeah, I just moved forward with Leia there. That was my bad.
Fairly easy to reattempt, though, because the spider stays close to the door once you put it there.
Yeah. I'll do it one more time, hopefully.
Yeah, pretty cool trick.
It is pretty tough. There's a lot of inputs to do all at once.
Yeah.
Oops. Yeah, I'm not getting it. Maybe one more time.
That was close. Yeah, why not? It's so easy.
Yeah, just make sure you tag Luke. Just like look at him. That's the only thing you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
You're kind of looking a little too far down right.
There we go.
There it is. All right.
Finally got it.
So when that spider tries to turn around, the AI will kind of take a wide line because the spider can only take wide lines around. And it'll walk past the transition trying to turn around. And if you swap to a character that's in it while it's trying to turn around, then you can end up behind the transition and go out of bounds. And then he's actually going to pop inbounds here just to go out of bounds again, because it's very hard to stay out of bounds during this part. You kind of have to jump on a tightrope around the edge, but instead he can just come over here and force this until he ends up out of bounds again.
Oh. Yeah, trying to line him up.
It's pretty precise, though. Thankfully, you can reattempt it like 0.2 seconds after each attempt. And there it is, out of bounds. And he'll skip having to use C-3PO and R2 here. You can see them. They're just stuck in their cage there.
Yeah, called droid avoid because we avoid using the droids.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah,
and now
good name.
is actually spiderless because this trick used to be done using a spider, but now it's able to be done without a spider. It's just a lot more precise. Mm-hmm. And it's another trick where you force something and try to wedge yourself between the wall and the object, but this one is much more precise and slower to reattempt. But he got it.
And I get it
right
first
away.
try.
Very quickly there, too.
Yeah, very quick setup.
Yeah, thanks to Jared for that setup.
Yeah, and so he'll be navigating out of bounds here to try to not die. And then there's normally a bounty hunter helmet that you have to acquire to get a mid-level cutscene. But if he hits that grate, which he just did, he just appears in the boss fight. So now we're fighting the Rancor without having to do any of the prior steps needed, saving quite a bit of time there.
Oh, yeah, no, he's going to take a bit of a weird path here, but that's fine.
Yeah. He gets stuck on this rock here if he goes left compared to right. But yeah, we're just destroying these things and letting the rocks rain down on the Rancor after giving him a Gamorrean guard to hang on to. A lot of good Star Wars terms there. Perfect. Going to be getting this last guard to give to the Rancor, and then he just paths to the gate, and we drop it on his head.
Whenever you feel like coming over, Han.
Yeah, sometimes Han will run right up to the levers to make it easy for you. Sometimes he'll stay at the other end of the room. But you need to switch to him so that he'll pull the lever.
Yeah, R2 can unfortunately not pull levers.
That's definitely a very hard level, and that was pretty clean besides the spider pull, but everything else was quick.
Yeah, very good. Now we're going
straight into another pretty hard level.
Yeah, one of the more infuriating levels in the run. This is Carcoon. What's the full level name? I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, this is where the Sarlacc comes into play and Boba Fett. We're gonna be navigating through some what are they even called? Like sand ships. They're owned by Jabba, but we're navigating those
skiffs, right?
Skiffs. We're navigating some skiffs here in order to basically complete the level here. Quite a few tricks in this that are very easy to fail and lose quite a bit of time to fail, so we'll definitely highlight those as he performs them. But yeah,
this one is not that fun if you miss a trick once. Pretty much, it's very easy to have a meltdown in this level if things don't go exactly right. But hopefully, the practice I put in before this run will pay off.
Oh, and Fast Force is going to help a lot in this room.
Absolutely.
At the end of this first room, there's two things you have to force that are like, they take a very long time to force if you don't have Fast Force, and enemies will be constantly spawning trying to shoot you, and if they shoot you while you're forcing, you have to reset. So Fast Force makes it a lot quicker, and you can just force them before they spawn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there was a trick in this level called Disco Skip that used to be considerably hard to do. It was basically a run killer, like you'd lose quite a bit of time, but there's a new setup found, I believe sometime last year, that has made the trick very consistent that we'll show off. But just wanted to highlight that in the beginning years of this game, this level was very infuriating to play for that reason, but now it's considerably better.
Yep, and he's going to start off with a jump off of one skiff to the other. There it is. Yep, you can just jump over and skip that bridge.
Yeah, saves a decent bit of time there, even if you fail it once. Now he's going to be managing the characters in a way where he can get Chewbacca right in front of where Boba Fett is about to spawn so he can punch him during the cutscene. And he does it perfectly there. Gets 3 hits, which is the max you can get, and immediately slays Boba Fett into the Sarlacc pit. He goes. And you can see it do a little burp here, which is funny.
Burp mentioned, let's go.
The cutscenes in this game don't get old, I don't think.
Okay, well, I messed up my movement there. Interesting. No worries.
All good. But yeah, now he'll be coming up to a pretty funny trick called topless, not for the reason you'd think. It's called topless because we avoid going up top and pulling a lever. And so he'll be doing that here, calling in the second player to pull a set of levers to extend some platforms, which you can do at the same time to avoid having the camera pan happen twice. And here we go. This is topless. He'll be looking for specific jumps there, and he does it perfectly. Gets the edge boost off the first platform and a really well-spaced jump to get across there.
It did look like he got that with a lot of leeway, but that platform that he jumped onto likes to just kind of shove you off of it, and then you don't respawn on top of it.
Yes.
Yeah, the edge of that platform is kind of a lot different than it looks. It's like a slope at the edge. So yeah, he barely got it there. First try, though. And now this room, another pretty easy skip. You can just double jump and slam, and you hit the transition in the ceiling like that.
Perfect. Skips a lot of the level to do that. And we're also going to be skipping roughly 40 seconds, which we would normally be doing, like building a disco ball. He's actually lining Chewie's foot up on a specific pixel so that when he completes the speaker build, Chewie gets clipped out of bounds, and he can just go to the end of the level there, which saves a considerable amount of time, and he gets it first try.
I honestly thought I was a little too far right, but it worked.
Yeah, you can see him leaning into the monitor.
I don't remember that in the movie.
Yeah.
I've been sitting on that one for a while. I was trying to pick like which skip I would say that joke on, and I feel like that was a good one for that one. So
I feel like if we didn't skip the disco, then that'd be more applicable, because I don't remember them doing a disco in the movies.
True. Now, we're coming up on this end platform section. Very annoying because the enemies will just hunt you down, but actually gets a pretty favorable like spawn here. He actually has no enemies on screen right now, so he can just push both boxes easily and switch to 3PO in order to release this final target. So the pretty fortunate RNG here.
Another big use for exploding blaster bolts here too.
Yes.
You normally can't blow up those targets with a blaster shot. You have to go to the far right of that the top platform there and like load up a gun with R2 and shoot the bolts at the targets, but exploding blaster bolts will just blow them up instantly.
Yeah, there's the turret he spoke about in the cutscene there. Saves a considerable amount of time to just be able to explode those with EBB. One of the biggest time saves with it, actually.
Yeah, luckily no catastrophes in that level. That could have been a much different cartoon had one thing gone wrong. I'll tell you guys that much.
Yeah, it's funny.
That was actually really clean.
He actually only failed the easiest part of the level.
Yeah, that is true.
So really good. And now we're coming up on Speeder Showdown. This level is normally very long, and you have to ride speeders towards the end of the level. It takes like 4-something minutes, I think, maybe more. But instead of doing that, we're just going to do a skip called Speeder Skip, very aptly named, where we flip over the end level, or not the end level, but the end course transition, and just get to the end of the level at the beginning of the level.
Yeah, if you've ever played this game casually, you know how much of a pain this level can truly be. So the fact that we're able to skip it so quickly is quite the luxury.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he'll be doing a very hard trick here called Flower Jump.
Yeah, clearly very hard. Oh my gosh.
Very nice. And then
he said it's hard for a reason, I promise, guys.
Exactly. That happens every run. It's impossible to hit first try. Joking, of course. But so now he'll be getting on the speeder and attempting to line himself up at a not specific, but just line this player up so that when he calls the second player in, they'll appear underneath him, and he'll do a barrel roll in order to appear above the gate and hit the transition here. So let's see how he does here.
Whoops, we need that on. I almost pressed.
Nice. Yeah, so I think that might be the biggest single skip in the run. That saves 5 or 6 minutes. Because normally there's a very long section where you're on those speeders, chasing down troopers and speeders. But instead, you can just jump over the end barrier and end up behind it.
Yeah, very nicely done there. Really, the mechanic we're abusing there is if you're in the speeder and you drop out, you can get out of the speeder while you're like in a barrel roll. So it just releases you from the speeder, allowing you to hit that transition. So now he'll be on the M platform. The goal here is to use the AT-AT to destroy these little satellites in a good sequence. So he'll be pulling the levers with Leia, and then when he gets to the final lever, he'll actually jump out of the AT-AT with Luke. And it'll force the AT-AT farther to the right while he's not controlling it, which it does right now. Very nicely. Yeah, he'll be killing these last few satellites and then pulling both levers to end the level. A little bit of movement here with the slash. And pretty well played speeder. One of the quicker levels in the game, really just annoying because of some of the RNG on the platform, like the trooper spawns, and then just hitting that speeder skip first try. Failing it actually loses a decent bit of time, depending on how you fail it with the speeder. So, did it perfectly.
Yeah, definitely one of the more important skips to learn, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, if you didn't do that, you wouldn't have a very good time in this game.
No. But we do move on to arguably one of the hardest levels in this run, really. Good bit of tricks used throughout. The first part, the first two like rooms are just a lot of movement and just execution. And then we have in the third room, it's going to be a really execution heavy trick that basically saves about 25 seconds if done properly, called 12 button skip. We'll talk more about it once we get closer. But it is definitely one of those tricks where messing it up can be very costly. So I'll do it to the best of my ability. And yeah, Endor's definitely, I think, isn't it the longest level, or it's up there with one of the longest, I should say?
Yeah, it's up
no.
there.
I mean, going by Community Gold, it is Secret Plans, but this level's not far behind that at all.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's like the third longest level if we're going off the best performances on the level. I think it would go Secret Plans, then Jabba's, then this, maybe?
No, Jabba's CG is faster than this CG.
Oh, okay. Anyways.
Practice segments, though, I think might be the other way.
I got you. But yeah, so we're going to be switching to, what's his name? What's the
R2?
Ewok's name?
Wicket?
Wicket.
Yeah.
We're going to be switching to Wicket because he is useful for the next room. Obviously, you actually have to use him to progress through the level. And we're going to be using R2 to fly on these railings and skip all of this bridge building and stuff that we would normally do. Considerable time save with what he just did. And then he'll be hitting the transition here. And then, yeah.
And then Wicket's use is going to come in right here, where he can go through the, what are they called? The grates? They have a name.
The hatches.
Hatches, yeah, the crawling hatches. Only short characters can do that. And once he pushes this in, Wicket's going to activate that lever up there.
Yes.
And then, yeah, this room's pretty simple, but the next room is where that big skip is. That is very difficult.
Yeah, one of the harder tricks in the game. 12 button skip that he mentioned.
I will also be getting ghost hearts here, hopefully.
Yes, that is very useful for the rest of the level.
Saves a considerable amount of time.
Yep,
Very
got
good.
him. Nice.
And so for this trick, he's going to be like abusing a mechanic where there's a droid panel and he can jump on specific parts of the panel and then the gear after that to clear the first the gate. Like normally you'd have to press a series of buttons with all 6 players and do all that. But if you do this decently perfect, you can save quite a bit of time. So he have to go over with both players. So he gets it first try with Han there.
Yeah, that was a bit too much momentum with Leia there.
Very hard trick here.
Nice. That's not bad at all. And then he's going to have to do a launch here with Han. If you jump into Han while he's running in this corner, he can launch up there, and you have to avoid the wall. That wooden wall actually extends way further than it looks, so you have to go all the way around it. You need a very good boost here.
Yeah,
And
very,
you have to
very
take the right
precise
line.
trick. Oh, that was it.
Ooh, almost. Just turned in too quickly, and there it is.
Very nice.
So yeah, that done optimally saves like 25 seconds. That was probably ended up saving time.
Yeah, maybe.
Around 5-10 seconds.
Yeah. And so here's another section where EVB saves a lot of time. We can actually just explode these walls, I guess, with our blaster instead of having to like get an AT-ST and use like a boulder launcher. So considerable time save there. And then we're just going to be bypassing all of this. This is the bunker. We're going to be using a skip called Paul Skip, or better called Paul. I forget what they named it. But we're going to be abusing the mechanic to warp our party members on the top of the bunker here with where we place Han. Then we're going to be setting our spawn up here and avoiding any place to set a new spawn. And now we're just going to be pushing Leia with both players into the transition.
Never done it like that, but sure.
Yep, so that's another super jump, and since Leia intersects with the door, like during her super jump, she's just going to float there.
Yep.
And you can switch to her, and she'll hit the transition.
And now we're in the bunker. There are 4 like levers we have to pull in order to remove locks on the final end door. That's funny, actually. End
Nice.
Door. Nice. But
Well done. Nice.
yeah, it was completely intentional. And so, pretty difficult set of movement here in all of these rooms. And there's actually a decent amount of skips that you can do, which save roughly 5 seconds per attempt. We'll show the first one here because this one always works if done correctly. He'll be sending Leia to the end of the room here and pulling the lever. And yeah, it'll auto switch him to R2, which skips a camera pan, saving quite a bit of time. You'll see on that top left latch is down, but we didn't have to see it like we have to see this one. This one is unavoidable. You have to see that one. But
and this is also where Ghost Hearts helps a lot. You can see he's just blowing everything up. EVV, Exploding Blaster Bolts, has the kind of side effect of being able to kill yourself with it. But if you have Ghost Hearts, you just cannot kill yourself.
True. And so that one, usually you exploit a mechanic that makes the trooper actually pull the lever on its own. But unfortunately, he switched to R2, which caused the camera to drag a little bit. So it couldn't skip that one. This is looking decent, though.
Ooh.
Not anymore.
So he'll have to get back on this. He no longer can skip the camera pan here because this one is very like...
Yeah, I was going to say he could if he... It's just not worth it to go for it, though.
Yeah.
That one's the hardest camera pan skip.
Mm-hmm.
And since it was already... He kind of messed up the cycle already, so it would have been even harder. Yeah, that's the end of the level. He just has to build the bombs now.
Yeah, very nice. And that was one of the hardest levels in the game. He did very nicely on it, all things considered. Yeah, very good. And now we're coming up on a level called Jedi Destiny, which has roughly 17 seconds of total gameplay. It performed properly.
This might be pretty objectively the funniest skip in the game. I don't know what else would compete with that. But,
this one's up there. This one is up there.
I think we kind of just let it speak for itself. This is a pretty long cutscene, though, if you want to go over anything else.
All right.
Yeah, so this, like you said, this level has the shortest amount of gameplay, but because the intro and outro cutscenes are decently long, it's not very near the shortest level. Right. That'll be in episode 3, we'll see, hopefully, assuming something doesn't go very wrong.
No. Surely.
Yeah, one thing that most people do at the end of Endor as well is drop out player 2, but that's something that I got not yelled at, but scolded about by one of the community members, saying that it just basically is a waste of time. But as you can see, we do meet the Emperor with Luke and Vader, which means we are gonna fight this guy. But we're gonna complete this fight pretty quickly with a nice little method that is pretty close to the movies. Let's just say that.
Yes. All right.
Yeah, that's a lot of hearts there. Must be a long fight.
I know. Super big slog of a fight here against Emperor Palpatine.
And just like that, the fight is over.
Very nice. I had a feeling that's where you're going with that.
Yep.
Yep. So that's actually the only boss that works for. If you push any other boss into a death plane, they'll jump back up to the platform. So people have thought that it might be an actual Easter egg because that's how he actually dies.
Yeah,
but there's no way to know for sure.
Like that's definitely a nod to episode 6.
Exactly. Yeah.
It is tough to do because he'll constantly be pathing up to the higher platform. So you have to coax him down there and then push him down the rest of the way manually while he's trying to fight back.
Yeah, that is nicknamed the Ultra Kill just because you skip having to do any damage to him and you just push him off the edge. Very nice. And as he said, yeah, considerably long cutscenes on the ending and beginning of this level. That's why it's so funny how you play for maybe 20 seconds or so. Optimally. But now we're going into one of the more frustrating levels in the game called Into the Death Star. This is another ship level. He'll be calling in the cutscene here. And then really the annoying part of this level is the first room. You have to destroy 4 starships with torpedoes that randomly spawn on enemy ships. So it's very RNG. There's a lot of variance in this level. Probably 20 to 30 seconds of variance just in this first room. Depending on torpedo spawns. There's a mechanic that mentioned earlier called torpedo duping, where if you grab a torpedo on the same frame with both players, then you dupe the torpedo. Pretty difficult to do. Have to manage the ships really well to do it. But yeah, here we are.
This is the level where that red brick we got earlier helps, though. Tractor beam. As you can see, those blue beams that show up, they will grab the enemies and pull them in. Normally, they might go fly towards you, they might fly away, and you definitely don't want them to do that when they have a torpedo. So the tractor beam helps that so that if they get near you, they won't leave you.
No, give me that torpedo. Okay, we're good.
Very good.
We're chilling.
Yeah, you really don't want to miss any torpedoes if possible. You can carry up to 6 with both of these ships, so that's why you keep both players called in to really maximize the ability to grab all the torpedoes because they're so scarce sometimes. But yeah, now he'll be grabbing that torpedo, attempted to dupe there, getting a decent RNG here. Yeah, really nice there. Has one more ship left, needs one more torpedo to destroy this ship, and then he'll be going inside the Death Star again, the second Death Star. Very good. He'll be grabbing a power-up that spawns on this last starship, or what's the proper name? Imperial Starship?
Starkiller, I believe.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, I think.
No, that sounds good.
Yeah, so that room, that didn't seem too bad. He got torpedoes. It could have been a lot quicker. It could have been a lot slower, though.
Yes. So yeah.
Yeah, thanks to Tractor Beam, it made it just that much easier.
Exactly. So we'll be going into the Death Star now. This section of the level is pretty consistent. It can be a little annoying. Just have to worry about your heart count on both players. And make sure torpedo blanks in this section are pretty annoying. They actually lose quite a bit of time if you blank enough. But he's completely safe right now because he does have the power up. Doesn't have to worry about any of these explosions or taking any damage. Yeah, so this is more of just like a go forward section and grab these torpedoes now. He'll be calling in player 2 to do so. Yeah, so all these turrets and ships coming up do quite a bit of damage. So he's on one heart on the second player. It's a little treacherous, but gets really nice targeting there. And yeah, we'll be going into the second room here, grabbing more torpedoes. Very nicely done. And now he'll be coming up on a set of rockets that can be a little annoying.
Oh no, that's not what I wanted to do.
Oh, that's okay. And so that'll lose a little time, but he really wants to get these on the first go. There's a setup where if you go away from the camera, they should auto-target like pretty fast. And they do there, so very nicely done. And he keeps all torpedoes going into the core here. So he'll be destroying all of these little, just like things that you have to destroy to allow the core to open up. And we'll also be collecting a very useful red brick here called Infinite Torpedoes, which gives us infinite torpedoes for the other ship levels in the game.
Infinite torpedoes would be really helpful for this level, but unfortunately you can't use a red brick in a level that it is in. That wouldn't make sense for the run.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but we
I
are
feel
coming
like
up
they
on
kind of
the.
did that to mess with us, I think.
Oh, they definitely did. We are coming up on the second pause here at the end of this level. Once we hit the cutscene, I'll let you guys know when we're about ready for that.
So yeah, the rest of this level is basically an auto-scroller. You're just holding down for a bunch of rooms and then a cutscene, and then that's the second leg done.
Very good. Yeah, very well done by Wazip, all things considered.
Yeah.
A lot of meltdowns can happen in both of these. Considerable time loss can happen, but he played pretty well. Pretty consistent.
For sure.
I'd argue differently, but I'm going to hold my tongue.
All right, and he collects the True Jedi there, which is one of the only ones that just happens organically when playing the level because of this end section. And he'll be ending it out here. Wazip's leg is over.
Man, I did it. I did it without any catastrophe. Yep. Just happy to make it through. But yeah, once we get to the end where Leia kisses Han, that's where we're going to be pausing the timer.
Yeah, once the screen wipes.
Yeah, nice little cutscene. Wicket obviously interrupting a nice moment there, like a jerk. But pausing in 3, 2, 1. There we go.
GG. Very nice.
As you can see, infinite torpedoes.
Sweet. All right, yeah. So we're going to get ourselves ready for the last leg of the run, and that one is going to be run by our very own Mellow Vro here in the call. So we're gonna take another quick break, folks. Give you a chance to stretch. Use the bathroom, get some water, get a snack, do whatever you got to do, and we will be back soon. Welcome back to Crosshair. We are just in the last leg of our Star Wars relay run. I was about to say relay race, but it's not a race. It's just a run, our relay run. And we are wrapping things up today with Mellow Vro running episodes 3 and 5 of Lego Star Wars: The Complete Saga. So Mellow, take it away.
All right. We're going to be going into episode 3 and 5 here. 3, the easier of the two. We can restart the timer as soon as I hit yes. So 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Yeah, so episode 3 is definitely easier than 5, like you said. It's also the shortest episode in the run. A lot of short levels in this episode, hopefully. And it's going to start with probably the most boring level in the run.
Yeah, this is Battle over Coruscant. It's an auto-scroller ship level. It looks very different than the rest of the ship levels. Really, the only thing you have to manage is player health count. If you die on this level in certain sections, it takes you back to the most recent checkpoint, which can lose a lot of time. So gonna be hoping to not die here. All right. Also gonna be putting the ships in specific corners to attempt to drag the camera along. There is a way to make the camera go faster. So I'm going to be trying to do that when I can. This isn't going to be the greatest showcase of it, though.
This is pretty much an auto-scroller, but you can save around 8 seconds across the entire, 3-minute level just by pulling the camera to the side. Actually, it's longer than that. I was considering the restart in it, but I think the gameplay itself is probably over 3 minutes of just this, basically.
Yeah.
Following a camera along the whole way.
Yeah. Riveting.
It's so brutal in the actual run because you go from the level that Wazip just did, which has a very long auto-scroller to finish, into this level. So a little bit...
It is a nice break before the end game, though.
It is. That's all it is, really, is a break.
The rest of episode 3 is really interesting, though.
Mm-hmm.
We go straight from this to one of the hardest levels in the run.
Yes. Very finicky level.
Paid to be intrigued.
All right. Yeah, so I'm just making sure that both players are staying relatively healthy. You only really have to worry about that later in the level coming up. You don't get shot too much at the beginning. But yeah, just keeping both players together, trying to push one ahead of the other is the goal here. So, yeah, just dragging the camera, putting both players in the corner, hitting these targets as fast as possible. This is the section where it gets a little bit scary on the heart count, so I'm going to try to lock in here. Going to kill that guy for some hearts, hopefully. Shoot that target. Very good. All right.
Yep. And actually, we're going to collect one more red brick in this level. That, I think, is vehicle smart bombs, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
So that lets you hold the special button, which is like your force key if you were playing a character level. But in ship levels, if you hold that button for long enough, it'll just blow up everything on screen. Any enemies besides like very large enemies like AT-ATs, they'll explode, and that's helpful in the next episode.
Whew. Oh my god, I was on one heart.
Yeah, that was scary for a sec.
All right, yeah, and there's much better ways to like play this level. Like, there's a lot of technical stuff with dragging the camera or boosting the player, but I'm just trying to play it a little bit safer here to prevent death. And yeah, I'm actually getting a little low here. I'd like to get some hearts, please.
Yeah, that's a part. If you go down right in that section, you can lose hearts very quickly.
Yeah. Please hit the things, please. I'm actually...
I mean, fortunately, you have like infinite time to hit them here, so it shouldn't matter.
Exactly.
All right, and then 2 short cutscenes will lead us right into that hard level we were talking about. I think you're going to go for every trick besides that, besides MVE, right?
Correct.
All right,
actually,
so we're starting off...
I just wanted to like mention something real quick. I have a controller which allows me to remove my control stick, so I'm going to be using that to try to perform this first trick.
Oh yeah, that'll make it easy to pause buffer, which is important for this first trick. You have one frame. Unfortunately, missed it. Yeah, so if you pause on the first frame of this cutscene here, you can drop out and swap to the player you dropped out, and it will let you move during that cutscene. You can get all the way to the end of the room before the door closes. And he's just going to turn those red bricks back on. That's exploding torpedoes, or exploding blaster bolts, and fast force. And then this room is pretty standard. You can be killed pretty easily by these droids, but other than that, there's nothing too difficult. There is this pixel jump here where you kind of just wedge yourself between the floor and this pillar, and you can get a jump, and you're up there.
Oh, come on. Pretty unfortunate RNG to die twice there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and EBB is going to be useful right away for these droidicas coming up. You can simply just deflect the bolts and they'll explode right away, which is really nice since they are one of the hardest enemies to defeat.
Yeah, EBB, it works for deflected bolts as well, which is very nice, not just the ones you shoot.
But Mello will be selecting R2 and positioning player 2 in a very specific way. That way we get a nice little force push that saves a little bit of time.
And then this is a pretty easy room. You just swap to R2 and then get to the top of the room, and R2 will follow you up there. But then we're going to get a short cutscene, and then one of the harder tricks in this level, probably the hardest trick in this level, it's going to be another super jump cancel with force push. And then since you're putting R2 out of bounds, he can't really jump out of bounds. If he starts flying out of bounds, he will fly for a bit and then just fall straight down. So you're going to have to use a very specific piece of collision out of bounds to make him basically ride up a slope that you just can't see because he's out of bounds. So hopefully this goes well. Gonna need to get rid of that droid first, yep. Nice, out of bounds. And then you gotta kind of go in circles with R2 to ride up that collision, and he's up. That's nicely done.
Very well.
Weird camera.
And then in the next room, there's going to be a drop-in warp where it's just a long room, and if you drop out player 2 and run along with player 1, the rest of your party will kind of get to the end of the room much quicker than you will. So you can just swap to them like that. Oh, So
Oh,
once you
man.
drop player 1 out, they could still die, and it will reset the room. So you kind of have to enter that next room very quickly after dropping out.
Oof.
Nice.
Always scary. It's always scary pausing in that room. What can happen is a
I
hard
didn't want
lock.
to say it, but
Yeah.
That wasn't that
You want to
close.
avoid hard lock?
I mean, I get scared because it happened to me recently, I guess. But yeah, the hard lock basically obviously locks you out of playing the game entirely. You do have to reset the entire game to just basically replay the level. So at that point, it's pretty much a dead run if you're on PB pace.
Yeah,
Nice.
loses considerable
so-
amounts of time.
Basically, for that drop-in warp, when the camera pans over to player 2, it will drop out player 1 automatically for 1 frame and then call him back in. If you pause on that frame rather, then the game hard locks. You'll be stuck in the pause screen and you're not able to move or do anything.
And we promise the little tiny game window is intentional.
Oh, yeah. This is where he switches to 800 by 600 for the next level because it makes a strat much more consistent.
Looks so funny.
Pretty quirky stuff here.
Yeah, we're basically playing through a Game Boy at this aspect ratio.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, and there's players that are much better at this level than me. Like, there's a lot of potential time save in that level that just comes with like RNG and better execution. So, but that was still a decent showcase.
Yeah, overall that was a good.
Shout out to our producer resizing the game on the overlay in real time.
Nice.
Just
Thank
to
you.
have to resize it again in a minute.
Yeah, it's only going to look like this for maybe another minute or so. So,
Yeah, so this next level is that very quick level I was talking about. It should be the quickest in the whole run, assuming nothing goes very wrong.
Yeah, and Anorak actually does have the fastest time for this level due to the fact that his PC is just not that great spec wise.
It's not bad. It's not a bad PC. It's not a good
Yeah.
PC. It's just perfect for this level.
Perfect for the
this
level, yeah.
is a bit hardware dependent, and it's probably like 20 or more seconds of variance if you have a very bad PC for it. But generally, it's not too bad, and like 10 or 20 seconds is the worst it's going to be. But yeah, that 800 by 600 makes it more consistent. And this is the trick. You lure Grievous over to the edge and then jump over to the rock and shoot him. And if he takes damage while no one's on the main platform, then it won't progress the fight. And you just do it repeatedly until he's dead. That's it. You can see him taking hearts. This is pretty good. Nice.
Already perfectly done.
GG.
Yeah, so that's normally a decently long scripted fight, but you can make it not progress at all if you damage him only on the other platform. And yeah, now he's going to swap back to 1920 by 1080 or whatever resolution he's using.
2560 by 1440.
Yeah.
It just wasn't
now-
native on my monitor.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Anorak.
so this next level is just another one there's really no tricks, and it's just all execution based. There's like a couple small tricks that save a little bit, but mainly just 2-player execution.
Yeah, one of the main things you can do with Yoda in this game is space out double jumps that will give you a ton of speed compared to any other character, really Jedi, I think. I think there's some characters that might be a little faster, but yeah, Yoda jumps will just propel you forward a lot quicker than pretty much every character in this game. So we will be seeing Mello space out a ton of Yoda jumps throughout, really whenever you're able to control Yoda.
Yeah, Yoda's actually the slowest character if he's walking without his lightsaber out, but he's the fastest character if he's jumping with his lightsaber out. I think he's actually tied for the fastest, I heard, like with Han Solo's dive rolls, but those are actually harder to be quicker with because you have to jump and then do a dive instantly to get the max speed on Han, so it's very easy to be very quick with Yoda.
Sounds like dustless rollouts from SM64.
Yeah.
Right?
I actually used to run that game.
Nice. Who hasn't at this point?
Yeah,
Except for me.
exactly.
Me,
Yeah, me too.
GG's. I admit I did like learn how to do BLJs and like cannonless, but I never actually ran the game.
Gotcha.
I just wanted to try those tricks out, and I did them. Oh,
More experience than me, that's for sure. So you have that at least.
Whatever.
Yeah, this whole room was just freeing
yeah.
these Wookiees to press on the buttons.
EBB proving to be a bit of a challenging red brick to deal with with some. Oh my God, what am I trying to say? Difficult to deal with at some points in the run, especially in the close quarters areas of pretty much any level. You just have to be very careful about your spacing with EBB or just using the blaster in general.
Yeah, this level has a lot of invisible walls in the beginning section that the shots will just collide with. Also, the targeting is a little bit less intuitive on keyboard. Like you can't hit the precise direction you would like normally shoot. So
yeah, so this is actually one small trick that he just did there, where there's targets at the top left and right of that door that you have to hit, and normally you have to grapple up next to them on a bridge. But he just shot them from the ground there by standing in a specific spot, and got it very quickly there. Actually, he got it with like the first 2 shots. And then this room has the other very small time save strats. We're going to see that towards the end, where he's going to get some pixel jumps off of the rocks to get up a little quicker. Chewie can't do them, so he's going to use this. I believe it's an ATRT, I just found out the other day. But Yoda is able to kind of jump into the rocks in a specific way that he can get up.
oops.
And again, nice.
Please.
oh,
Yeah, those only do 1 heart of damage, so it's kind of unfortunate that I was at exactly 1 heart to die there.
Yeah, those are very rarely a problem. So kind of just unlucky.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is the last room where he's just going to have to force some, holes in the ground, some things that will force them and then shoot them, and then an escape pod will pop up. And that's the level. Once that's up, he'll force it and it's over.
Nice.
Very, very tough level. Done pretty well by Mello there. Obviously took a good bit of deaths, but is to be expected with exploding blaster bolts. But yeah, overall, Kashyyyk, one of the more difficult levels to get through, just based off of the fact that you have to have good execution with both players pretty much at all times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very 1P2C. Like that's a big skill check. Like a lot of the good runners will save considerable time to the mid-level or like lower level runners in that level just off execution and knowledge of what can be done in the level.
This is another pretty simple level with one major skip. That's not too difficult. We'll see if you can get that first try. Thankfully, it's pretty quick to back it up, but...
Oh.
So you can skip that cutscene by just kind of jumping into the transition right after you force the door, but he missed that. But that's fine, it loses like a second. And then a quick room of just one force and then some platforming into just a few more forces, and that's about it for this room. You gotta force these in a specific order. Do that one first so that you can jump behind this one and force the far one first, and then the close one. And then you can get in the next room.
And I just learned something new.
You haven't been doing that this whole time?
Nope, I have not.
Oh.
But now I will. And this is what's great about this
you
game.
want to explain library skip then?
Sure, why not? So basically with Yoda, you're going to be placing him, if you can see right ahead where that circle is, you're going to be placing him right in front of that circle. Having Obi-Wan jump right up top on the arm there. Putting the camera in the very top right corner, trying to pan Yoda off screen. And as you jump to the very top, you're going to do a drop in at the peak of the jump to have Yoda spawn behind the door, and it'll spawn you into the next room.
Yeah, nicely done on first try.
Yeah.
So normally you have to go to the left side in this room and like activate some levers and jump up top, and go to the right side and activate some platforms and then some levers. But you can just drop Yoda in right behind the door.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
saves quite a bit of time. And it used to be very difficult. Like people used to think it was RNG, but they found a very consistent setup, so no longer an issue.
Yep, and just like that, we're on the last level in episode 3, and this is another quick level. So that just goes to show how quick episode 3 is.
Yeah, that section, the Grievous, Kashyyyk, and Ruin of the Jedi, very quick, not very long at all levels. And this level is not very long either. Roughly 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, similar to the Chancellor room where the wall was coming towards the players. It's pretty much the same thing, just dropping in and then dropping out with player 1 quickly after. And you're just able to instantly touch the transition door to get to the next room. And we're just going to do some nice quick forcing here, get these pillars out of the way, and go into another cutscene.
A lot of cutscenes in this level.
Yeah.
Well, actually, this is the second one. The first one. Well, yeah, the intro.
First mid-tro, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and unlike the movies, we're actually going to have Anakin and Obi-Wan work together to live here instead of trying to hurt each other. But yeah, as simple as getting on those 2 buttons, we're going to force a couple things here that basically stop you from progressing. And what Mello's going to do here is just stay back with Anakin, and then eventually, yeah, allow him to walk forward. That way he doesn't die or anything like that. But,
yeah, dying in that room resets the room, so a little bit, like, considerable time loss if you die on either player there.
Yeah, that's
much
how
in any
every
part of this
room
level.
in this, yeah, that's how all the rooms in this level work. If you miss that drop and warp at the start, that basically makes it guaranteed that you're going to die and you have to restart that one. The pillar one is pretty hard to die in, but that gas room you can easily die in if you make a small mistake. And then this one, the platforming isn't too hard, but again, one small mistake and you reset the room. And then it's just the fight.
Yeah, so he's going to just swap between characters, as both characters, without controlling them, will just slash on their own. So you just drop in at the very last hit of damage there, and it instantly ends the fight.
Yeah, and we actually make sure that Obi-Wan wins the fight there, because if he doesn't, then there's a slightly longer cutscene that plays.
All right.
But just like before, we are going to...
Episode 3.
Yeah, that's the end of episode 3. We are going to be moving on to the final episode, episode 5, which is not really expected for a lot of casual players. But yeah, we do end on 5, as it does have the longest ending cutscene. And as well, just it has utilization for the red bricks we collected before throughout the entirety of it.
Yeah, so time will end as soon as the last level ends, rather than when the cutscene of the level ends. So the cutscene of 5 being a lot longer than the rest, it just makes sense to put it last. And all the red bricks we used are useful in this one, except for tractor beam, which we're not going to turn on. But we will turn on the rest of those red bricks. And we're starting out with another ship level.
Yeah, one of the red bricks we collected, infinite torpedoes, that I collected at the end of 6, is basically if you have tractor beam on, it can really mess with the way the torpedoes operate, so it's just best to leave it off.
Yeah, it's funny, we grabbed tractor beam for the time save in 6.6, and we don't use it ever again. And then the only level that VSB is actually useful for, realistically, is this level. So, but they're so easy to grab, like in the way of the run, that they're beneficial and save enough time to like warrant grabbing.
Yeah, vehicle smart bombs literally loses no time to grab because it's in that auto scroller, and then tractor beam loses basically no time. If you execute it quick enough, then you really don't lose time. It just loses a dropout, and that's it.
Which is roughly a little less than a second.
Yeah,
perform well.
A quick dropout can be like 0.5, 0.6 seconds.
Yeah, that's one skill you have to get really good at when playing the game, is actually dropping out characters quickly, just for like the most time save. It doesn't make a huge difference. I guess we never explained it, but there's a mechanic called double menuing where you use, like on controller, you would use down on the stick and down on the D-pad, or on keyboard, you would use down like on the arrow keys and down on like whatever input you use for down to double menu down. So that saves a good amount of time to just single menuing.
Yeah. You kind of just spam them both down until you're at dropout. And when you've done it enough, you don't even like count the down presses. You just do it quickly and then press the drop out button.
A lot of muscle memory.
Yep. All right, so in this room, he's just going to be dragging one bomb to the end and blowing up the barrier to get through that.
A little
And
scary.
in the next room, he's going to do a... it's not really a drop-in warp, but he's going to drop in player 2 to skip a barrier, and then skip another barrier simply by doing a roll with his ship. So the first barrier skip is a little bit difficult. The second one should be pretty easy. But he
Gets it
does
first
get that one
try.
first try. That's nice. And now here's where he's going to turn on all those red bricks. Skipping tractor beam, scrolling all the way down there, and then scrolling back up because we're going to need to turn off exploding blaster bolts later in the run. And whenever you leave that menu, it's just going to stay on whichever selection you were on. And there was a second barrier skip. And then this is where Vehicle Smart Bombs works. He's going to hold the special key on both characters, kind of alternating the presses, and you're going to see all of the enemies just blow up as he circles around.
Very cheesy stuff going on right now.
Yep. Not a bad wave one.
Yeah, pretty good.
And
RNG
there's
there.
4 waves total where you have to destroy different enemies. And there are AT-ATs, and like I mentioned before, those you cannot blow up with Vehicle Smart Bombs. Though that would save a lot of time. Because you'll see how we have to destroy them. It's exactly as it happens in the movie, and that's going to be on the next wave when the AT-ATs spawn.
Oh, where am I going? Oh, got a really bad spawn here.
Yeah, you do not want them to spawn next to the rocks there, because if you run into the rocks as you're towing them with the tow cable, then it will reset the tow cable and kind of break it. So he had to destroy the rocks there to be safe. And he's going to look for the second AT-AT, hopefully in a better spot. Yep. And then there's one wave after this with a bunch more enemies, including one AT-AT. And Vehicle Smart Bombs will help clear out all those enemies besides the AT-AT, and then it's just going to be wrapping one more AT-AT.
Hopefully I die here. Good.
Yep, nice. Resetting the hearts on both players. Yeah, once you pass that AT-AT, you want to stop circling and go for that AT-AT, and then you'll continue circling using Vehicle Smart Bombs after it's destroyed.
Yeah, this one's
That's kind of
next
the
to
priority.
the
Yeah,
collisions.
That's another not great spawn, because when you're circling, if you hit the outside of the level, it will force you to do like a 180 flip, and it's hard to stay circling the AT-AT when it's that close to the outside. But yeah, that was overall a pretty good Hoth, I think. Got everything first try.
Pretty good. RNG on the last wave was a little bit suspicious, but everything, yeah, pretty solid there. That's a level where having good 1P2C is beneficial, because you kind of saw me with the second player, like, wait to finish wrapping around the AT-AT before I went and got a bomb. Better players than me would be able to do both at the same time. So that's a level where execution and, like, good 1P2C will help a lot. But yeah, decent Hoth to start here.
Yep.
And he finishes the level by blowing up this last AT-AT. Little smile there.
What a nice guy. We are going to be moving on to Echo Base at this point. One of the shorter levels in 5, I do believe. And it does have a pretty big trick that if you're able to get first try, saves a good bit of time. Otherwise, if you go for it a second try, it saves about a half second. So it's important to go for it first try. It is called Boom Skip, so look forward to that. We'll mention when it comes up. And one little thing about the Boom Skip room itself is that building the bomb at a very specific time can cause a soft lock on the, not just the last level, but it's the second to last level. So we are going to hopefully build the bomb at the right time. Although we won't really have an idea until we get to those levels. But
Yeah, if he's slow enough, then it shouldn't matter.
This is pretty
a couple
slow,
times
so.
should help. Yeah, he's actually
Yeah.
just making it so that he doesn't soft lock in those last levels. That's
Yes,
why
this
the
was all
intentional.
intentional. Exactly.
yeah, I think
That one was
Mello
actually intentional.
normally does not actually go for boom skip as well. So
Yeah, very recently added this to show it off in this run. So it's going to happen in this next room here. It's going to send Leia over to build that cart and try to put Han in a specific spot. And if he does it right, he should clip out of bounds. Ooh, a little high there.
so close.
Yeah.
Gonna go
But
for
he
a
can
second
get it
try
on the
'cause
next
why not?
cycle. Yeah,
That looks good, no?
that looks too high.
Hopefully.
But maybe it's the resolution.
Oh,
Yeah. You should
I'm gonna
try
keep
just
going for
tapping
it.
left to move up, because if you tap left, he'll move up a tiny bit.
this seems really good,
Instead
no?
It might be too high again. No, that's
There
it.
we go. Perfect.
All right, and then there's a very convenient hole in the floor collision, like a 1x1 square hole that he just dropped through. That if it wasn't there, this skip would just not be possible because you wouldn't be able to drop below it. But for some reason, it's there, so we use it to drop Han out of bounds. And now Han thinks he's stuck, and he's going to super jump into that transition, and you can swap to him, and then you're into the next room. Normally, you'd have to go like get C-3PO and have him activate that panel, but you can avoid that altogether by sending Han out of bounds to hit the transition. And then here's another small, pretty easy skip. He's just going to push C-3PO up onto this higher floor here. Normally you have to build a cart to like launch him up there, but just pushing him. There's like 80 different ways you can get C-3PO up to that higher floor without the cart.
That saves a good amount of time to just jump roll into him like that.
All right, and in
now
this room,
yeah.
you want to explain it?
Sure, why
I've
not?
been talking too much.
No, you're good. No worries. I let you go. Anyways, we have 5 buttons that you have to hit on a slope at the very top here. So we're gonna go up top with Leia and Han. We're gonna try to hit as many with Han on the first go, and then just ensure that we are moving forward. The camera, the camera will be pushing Leia down automatically, so you don't even have to move with her until she starts sliding. But yeah, very very well done by Mello there, and we're going to be doing a couple more buttons here. These are the last ones we do have to press for the level. But yeah, sometimes if you push the box in a very incorrect way, you're not going to be able to actually have a fast room there. So luckily that didn't happen. Pretty easy to avoid. And then we're going to do a nice little jump at the very end here. A little bit space to get on top of the Falcon. Saves a really good bit of time compared to the casual way where you typically have to free some animals and then yeah, it saves a lot of time to be able to just space a jump and get on top of the Falcon as easy as we did.
Yeah, that one is actually pretty easy. All you do is jump forward, then left, space the jump out a little bit, and you should get on top fairly easily. And yeah, it saves quite a bit of time, like Wazip said.
Yeah,
And
we are
yeah,
going to be
that-
moving on to arguably everyone's like least favorite mission, as it is very RNG dependent, and the fact that it is the 4th to last level is not a good thing.
It is.
So
It is the most RNG dependent level in the game. You can lose 45 seconds, like at the worst, probably to a minute maybe, if you get really unlucky. And it's all because of the boulder at the very end of the level.
which the
We'll
boulder
explain
is
that.
nice. The boulder's nice to one person in particular, but we'll talk about that
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
There's one person in the community who will have a really good boulder and think it's just average because they get lucky all the time.
Classic Justin.
He's the best. Shout out We Super. One more turret.
Yeah, so the strategy normally here in this first room is having the Falcon go to the left side and having the X-Wing go to the right side, and it simply just makes the room faster because I believe it's because the Falcon has the auto-aim, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Oh yeah, you cut out there
Yeah.
for a bit, but yeah, the Falcon has auto aim, and you want to send it has auto aim, but it shoots slower, so you want to send player 2 all the way around the outside to destroy most of the turrets, and the
There you
Falcon
go.
will stay close by and destroy the closer turrets. And you also saw him cue 50 hertz there. If you go into the pause menu and scroll over to a different refresh rate or any video settings change, and then you use the pause button to exit instantly, which you can only do on controller. If you press the pause button anywhere while in the pause menu on controller, it'll take you out of the pause menu. You can't do that on a keyboard for some reason. But if you do that after changing to a different like refresh rate, but not like switching to it, then you can Alt-Tab and Alt-Tab back into the game during a cutscene, and it'll switch you to that new refresh rate without losing any time.
Yeah, it's very nice to be able to do that on controller and just basically lose no time for the actual change in the menuing, besides actually changing the setting. So, but yeah, the actual gameplay in this level isn't anything crazy. It's destroying these boulder walls with the torpedoes, and we have the infinite torpedoes, so we don't have to worry about our torpedo count.
Yeah, a very boring level, but a very frustrating level at the same time.
Yeah, very easy to lose time
at the end.
Yeah, casually you'd have to collect a bunch of torpedoes and stuff, but we don't have to worry about that because we have the red brick. Okay, well, I died, but it's fine.
So now we're into the boulder room, and as you can see, it is rotating very slowly. So the speed that it rotates and the direction it rotates is RNG, and those targets, you have to hit all 6 of them. And if you get a bad speed or a bad rotation, they can just stay on the back of the boulder for too long and you lose a ton of time. It's the biggest RNG check of the entire run.
And it's at the basically very end.
It's not looking pretty good right now, yeah. I think you have one more after that one?
This should be.
Or is that it? Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's not too bad. That's not too bad.
I didn't play it very well either. Like my ship management and like trying to get the torpedoes to hit the like 2 at a time wasn't very good, but that was decent all things considered.
Thank goodness for infinite torpedoes, that's for sure.
Yeah, that would be so much worse without that. Yeah. Imagine if they put infinite torpedoes at the end of this level.
Be really
I don't think
bad.
anyone would run the game, to be honest.
Yeah, it might be that bad.
I did my first run of the game. I actually missed infinite torpedoes, but decided to continue without it, and I lost roughly 3 minutes to a good time just based off having to shoot boulders and collect torpedoes, or go into the worm room and collect torpedoes. Like it just loses so much time. So very nice.
Thankfully, that wasn't the case for us, and the rest of this run is pretty difficult levels, to be honest. They're going to be really hard. I think Mello mentioned that he's probably going to deafen for the last 2 at the very least, as they're very performance heavy, and if you don't execute properly, you can lose a ton of time. So Dagobah is one of those levels where there's not too many things that you can do tricks with, aside from the major hut skip that we will talk about once we get there.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's a lot of execution, just like we've been mentioning throughout the entire run.
Yeah, if you guys could actually just be a little quiet during hut skip so I can hear R2, otherwise we're fine.
Yeah, there was a subtle audio cue that's very helpful for hut skip. But that is in the 3rd room, so right now I'll explain that in the next room, or not the 3rd room, this is the 2nd room. But in the next room, there is another skip that is called Dagobah button skip, because there's some buttons under the water that you normally have to bring up by like standing on a button, and it'll bring up the next one. But if you jump on them the right way while they're under the water, you can actually avoid dying in the water and skip that entirely. But he's going to forego that strat here because it is very difficult, and messing it up loses a lot of time. So he's just going to build the buttons and go through the water the intended way.
Yeah, it's very impressive to watch someone actually perform this skip like properly, because you're basically just jumping where these buttons are below the swamp, and you've memorized the positions, and you have to fly R2 at a specific spot to get up the final slope.
Right, so now he's going into hut skip, which is a 1 try. If you miss it, you activate a cutscene, and then you have to do an entire another room. That's a pretty long room.
That's good hut skip. Very nice.
Also, sorry, I kind of realized I was talking into it.
It's okay, he's goated. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it loses a million minutes to like miss that. More like a minute and a half or something, maybe a little bit better. But yeah, pretty good. There was a jump on the tree trunk there, and there was a slide that I took on the panel, which saves a little bit of time as well, but that was a pretty good section.
Yeah, normally you're supposed to do that by activating a panel across the way with R2, and it brings up a bridge. But if you just jump off like a pixel in the tree, you can jump around it anyway. Which makes it nice because you don't have Luke's double jump, because normally he would have the force there, but Hot Skip makes it so that he's not a Jedi yet, and he only has his single jump. So having that pixel jump makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, I did a series of fun jumps there on Yoda. Pretty satisfying to like clear all those gaps.
Yeah, Yoda is very fun to play as once you get his movement down.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing a little thing, I don't know what it's called, honestly, but basically we're going to be forcing during these little camera pans just to try to cut down on, or to save some time, because normally you can't move on them if you're not forcing objects, but if you're forcing, it allows you to move freely during the camera pan.
Yeah.
This is a very like rapid 1P2C check. If you execute it well, you can save a lot of time over not being able to execute it very well. But that wasn't too bad. A couple missed jumps onto a box, but that was fine. And then this is the last room. Again, we're going to avoid going in the water by building this bridge.
And luckily you don't have to push it full way. Otherwise, you'd be standing there a little bit longer. But yeah, thankfully, you just have to push it ever so slightly to make sure that all characters can get across. And then Melo's going to be standing in a very specific position to make sure that this box gets forced. Otherwise, there's some things in the surrounding area of this of that box that you can force instead, which would otherwise lose time, of course. But the one thing you have to be careful of are these bats that are very annoying, as you can see, as they can cause you to accidentally kill Yoda in the middle of building the final thing to end the level. But yeah, most importantly, you just got to make sure that you kill the bats along the way throughout basically the entire level.
Yeah, those bats are particularly annoying because you don't have a blaster character, and they can sometimes just fly so high that you can't kill them with a lightsaber. Right. And that happened there. That bat kind of flew it the perfect way to get to Yoda, and he could not kill him.
Yeah. That was a pretty good Dagobah, though. No major mistakes, just a little bit unoptimal stuff in the Vader fight, but yeah, not bad.
Yep. Now on to another very hard level, and followed by another very hard level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as soon as this like intro cutscene starts playing, feel free to deafen me, because I'm gonna need this concentration.
Good luck.
All right, he is deafened. So I guess I should mention, if you have seen the Summoning Salt video, you might know that this level, this is CCT. This level it was at the time the hardest level in the game. But that trick, DV2, which was the bane of everyone's existence at the time, that has actually been obsoleted. The level is still very difficult, but obsoleting DV2 with a faster and easier version of it is very nice. So Melo should be able to do that room a lot easier than he would be able to otherwise. We're actually going to start with a super jump here. Again, sending R2 all the way across, and he's going to set the spawn point where he flew from there, and on that back platform there is no respawn point, and R2 is going to think he's stuck and jump into the door transition, and if he calls him in, he hits it. Perfect. And then he's just going to slam next to this door, and if a shot deflects, it'll blow it up. Perfect. And in the next room, he's going to be doing the first DV skip in this run, which is the R2 panel fly. So he'll send R2 over to activate this cutscene, and then he'll position Luke in a spot to make the camera setup better and have R2 fly across, hopefully, by landing on the panel. You have to land at a very specific spot on that panel. You can't just land on the top of it. Yep, there. And then, there's also an invisible wall. You have to barely fly around. So this is a pretty tough trick. A lot more precise than it might look.
Yeah, when nerves are high, this one is definitely one of the harder ones to pull off.
Yep, and he got it there. That's good. Now he's just got to get Luke over to the right without losing the helmet in some way. And that's good. And now is the DV2 room, so we can see that new trick. using another super jump, this time canceling it with a force push rather than the door itself. Ooh. So yeah, he's going to use pause buffers to make it easier, but he unfortunately started pause buffering a little late there.
A lot of pause buffers.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is going to make it take a little bit longer, but he's making sure that he gets it like perfectly, which does end up doing it without deactivating R2 as well, luckily.
And then there's another weird collision out of bounds here that R2 can ride up, and that's what he's going to do, and then just fly into the transition. This not only skips the room he's in. Well, missed the transition, but he can try again. This not only skips the room he's in, but the next room, which is a much longer room. It's another Vader fight. And it's the longest Vader fight because you have to do you have to activate like gas panels a few times. You have to damage him, like do several damage phases. This is not great, but he'll hit it. And then actually right after this is the DV3 jump, which is you have 3 frames of leeway between 2 jumps because it's a double jump. And there it is. So now he's in the next room. So yeah, this jump is, if you hit one jump perfectly, then the next one has 3, and he got it first try. Nice.
And first try, very, very nice. Very feel-based trick. If you've played this game for a long time, it is very hard. There's a nice little panel jump at the end there as well to skip having R2 use it as well, which is very nice.
I also do wonder if he knows that we can hear him, even though we can't, or he can't hear us.
Makes it all the better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and then the final level.
Yeah, more so that was a pretty good CCT. Just once again, that goes to show just how difficult that level can be for newcomers, intermediate level players, and even top level players still struggle with this level. It is one that you cannot avoid.
All right.
But yeah.
I have to say it. It looks like Luke's been disarmed.
That he has. Also, now we have a very long cutscene if you want to go over anything else before the end of the run.
I mean, hello again.
Hello, welcome back.
Hey.
I'm deafened now. Yeah, so as we're heading into the end of this run, I do want to remind everybody, we are not done with Hotfix for the evening. We will be having another show after this, and with that show, we will be featuring some spooky speedruns. So be sure to stick around and check out the next show after this.
Yeah, that DB3 was really nice.
Yeah, it was clean.
Didn't even have time to fully explain it before you did it.
So, someone in chat said, hands down the best joke so far.
That's a good one.
That's good.
Nice.
That's good.
All right, so now in this level, you want to explain GTF or should I? One of you?
I can do it, yeah.
All right, yeah.
So basically,
you're not going to deafen.
No, I'll just play it. So basically the goal with GTF is there's a spline you want to hit to deload the ending Falcon, right? Or is it just the troopers again? I think it's the Falcon this time.
I'm not sure exactly. I think it kind of does the same thing as Falconless in Death Star Escape. So we're going to go to a certain room and then backtrack a little bit. But this one involves a more difficult backtrack because you have to clip out of bounds and run back and die. And then it's going to involve a difficult bridge fly at the end, because normally you would open a bridge to get to the Falcon, but you're just going to avoid that and get to the Falcon's door, which is open because of the deload that we do. And then, yeah, it does like the same thing as Falconless, where it's going to load in the troopers in the last room and then deload them.
Pretty hard trick.
He has to...
Well, not hard, just precise.
It's precise. Very easy to mess up. And first he's going to do door clip here, which is going to get him out of bounds the first time to get past this door. Unfortunately, these...
Oh my God.
Oh. The civilians are just RNG, and if they run in front of the door, they make it so that the door doesn't close, which is what he needs. But he still got that pretty quick after those civilians ran by. And yeah, that skips having to get C-3PO, I think. And now he is... And the next room is where he has to go to load the last room, and then he's going to backtrack right after that. And we'll see him go for the out-of-bounds clip for... It's called GTF, or Grand Theft Falcon. He actually has to go back to that room one time to de-aggro the troopers in the previous room. And that looks really good.
Clean.
He also set his spawn on top of the wall there, which saves time, which it'll allow him to basically jump up and hit the transition right away after respawning. Yep, so you see he spawns up top there, and that looked good.
Very nice.
There is a chance, well, I don't think he did it, but there is a chance that you can miss the spline and not deload the troopers properly. But his line did look good there, so it should be fine. And there's no way to know it until you have reached the end room and tried to enter the Falcon. But yeah, this is looking really good. Now it's just a decently long room that ends with a box clip where you push Chewie out of bounds and he'll run and go to the very final room. And actually, Chewie is important to hit the last trigger with because he stands in a perfect spot to do the bridge skip, because you not only have to do a precise fly with R2, you have to shoot him multiple times with Chewie to do damage boosts while he's flying. And that's how you skip the bridge.
Yeah, so the last skip does utilize what the show that we're currently in, Crosshair, is all about. We are going to be using a gun to finally finish out this run.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this clip is pretty easy. If you just push him against that wall and run into him, he will pop out of bounds, and now he's just going to run all the way to the last room. And hopefully hit this bridge skip first try. And if he does, this is a really good GTF Bespin, besides the RNG with the civilians on door clip.
I don't think it's gonna work.
Ooh, yeah.
I didn't get that
Fortunately,
fly.
flew a little bit too high up with R2. Yeah, and then that will aggro the troopers on the platform, and it'll make Chewie shoot a little weirdly. So yeah, missing it once is pretty bad, but if he gets it, ooh.
So close.
It is tough. You have to hold a specific angle and kind of strain that angle a little bit. And that
Does
is it.
get it, though.
And
Very
assuming
nice.
he hit the trigger, then time will end as soon as this cutscene starts. Now. Nice.
GG.
GG's.
Nice.
We did it. The whole thing with 3 runners. Let's go.
Nice.
235 is not bad considering all of our PBs.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, so take a moment. We got a little bit of time here. Give yourselves some shout outs. Tell people where we can find you on the internet. All 3 of you were runners today, so we want to give you all time to shout yourselves out and tell people where they can find you.
All right. Anorak, you want to go first?
Yeah, so my Twitch is AnorakDT. You can see that right under Mello, right under his face cam. Yeah, that's about it. Just follow me on Twitch if you want to see some Lego Star Wars runs. I will be going for 219 attempts because I'm looking for a top 5 time.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. He's currently 6 on the leaderboard, right, Anorak? So you're going
7th,
top 5?
actually.
7th.
Dragon beat me out recently, yep.
All right.
All right, I guess I'll go next. Yeah, why not? I'm Wazip. You can find me on YouTube under the same name. Twitch, it's going to be 2 V's because the original is taken. Thank you, person that doesn't use the account anymore. Anyways, I am currently on the grind to get sub 230 in this game. So you can check me out on Twitch for that. As well, I do Speedrun Barnyard, and I'm actually going to be doing a new category to try to submit to GDQ starting tomorrow, I believe. So look forward to that. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm Melivro. You can find me on Twitch at Melivro TV. I believe that's it. Shouldn't matter. And yeah, I guess you could also follow me on Twitter, Melivro TV _ or just Mellover _. So that's it.
Nice. Well, yeah, thank you to the three of you for showing this off. This was a lot of fun to watch, and this was the first relay we've ever had here on Crosshair. So this was awesome, and thank you all for showing it off.
Sweet, thank you.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, folks, all good things must come to an end, and so too it must be that Crosshair come to an end this evening. But fear not, because the GDQ Hotfix, which is also a good thing, is not over yet, because coming up next we have speedruns for the crypt, so stick around for some spooky speedruns. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another episode of Crosshair. I've been trying to think of like what's my hint at the next episode theme, and I haven't been able to think of a way to frame a hint. So I guess the hint is we're going old school with it. You'll see when we get there. But yeah, we'll see you in 2 weeks, folks. And as always, no matter what your dreams, goals, or hopes are in this world, always keep them